Today on Dr. Phil.
You consider it cheating if he's sleeping with his wife.
I know it sounds ridiculous.
That's because it is.
Affairs can ruin lives.
You dummied up divorce papers and gave them to her.
But the real victims
You're planning to have a baby with another woman's husband.
are the children of affairs.
I was 11 when my mom told me my dad was not my father.
My entire life was a lie.
Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, three, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. The cries of a beautiful baby being born into this world should be one of the most joyous times in a parent's life. But that's not always the case, especially when the baby is a product of lies and deception. Now, we've all seen the media firestorm surrounding the shocking affairs of Arnold Schwarzenegger and politician John Edwards, who both had children with their mistresses. Now, surprisingly, 120,000 children born each year are the product of an extramarital affair. 120,000. So who is at fault and who's to blame? Are these married spouses seduced into stepping outside their marriage? Or is the other person manipulated into falling in love with a married man or woman? And by the end of the show, you're going to know exactly where I stand on that. But first, I want you to meet Jermaine, who is 5 months pregnant with a married man's baby.
I've been dating a married man for almost 2 years. I'm 5 months pregnant, and I'm worried that he's cheating on me with his wife.
I lied to my wife. I lied to the woman I was having the affair with. I didn't care what anybody else thought. It didn't matter. I just did what I wanted.
I went to his house, asked his wife what was going on, and she said, "We're happily married." He said, "You were a big mistake, and we're trying to rebuild our relationship." All I could do was cry and apologize. Later, Trevor asked me to give him a second chance. He proposed to me. We started living together. I feel like he's still not being honest, and it just infuriates me.
Jermaine is a drama queen. Jermaine does not let anything ever go, and she minimizes what she's done and maximizes what I've done, and it just never frickin' ends.
Trevor lies. When he says he's at work, he's really not at work.
This horse has been beaten so many times that it is flat as a pancake. Jermaine takes the smallest of issues and then turns them into a circus. She wants to be the bitch, and she is.
I found this big, beautiful bouquet of flowers on my doorstep. So I'm thinking these flowers are for me. Open the card, and the card has his wife's name, and it says, "Things will get better, Trevor."
I did not send anything to my wife.
Trevor's wife left a note with it that said, "We've never been apart, we were still together."
Stuff happens, it's done, get over it, and move on.
What do you mean by that? And let me get this right, by the way, you're married still.
Yeah.
And how long?
We'll have the divorce finished at the end of the month.
How long you been married?
10 years.
10 years. And how long have you two been an item?
Almost 2.
2 years? I assume you don't want to be here at all.
I'm the jerk, so yeah, probably not.
No, that's a question. I'm assuming you don't want to be here at all. Would that be correct?
That would be correct.
You're here under duress, I assume, from her.
That is correct.
Because you said she's just a bitch, won't turn things loose. And so I assume she says, you're either going to go out there, we're going to work this out, or something.
No, she said, "I'd really appreciate it if you'd back me up and for the first time in a relationship show that you care and make me first."
First time in a relationship, show that you care. So you're here because she wanted you to be.
Yes, sir.
Not because you want to be. Because
No,
you
sir.
think I'm going to throw you under the bus.
Yes, sir.
Because you're a lion, slime,
Yes, sir.
misleading,
Yes, sir.
scumbag.
Yes, sir.
That's your theory.
Yes, sir.
That you think would be my attitude about it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we'll see. Okay. You want to be here because why?
I want to know the truth. And
What do you want to know the truth? About what?
am I the only one? Am I the only woman?
No, he's married.
That I understand. However, I need to know that if we're going to move on in the future, that his behavior from the past is going to stop. That this isn't going to continue and be okay.
Okay, so you want my opinion on these things?
Absolutely.
So ask me the questions you want me to answer, and I'll just answer them. We'll just get right to it. And see, while I'm talking to her, I'm not dogging on your ass, so this is good. All right, go ahead. What do you want to know?
How much longer do I need to stick around and say things are going to change?
How much longer should you do this? I don't know, how long does it take you to get to the airport? That's how much longer you should be in this relationship. If you're asking me if I think he will change, the answer is not even almost. Not even almost. He's lying to you now. He's lying to you today. He lied to you yesterday. He lied to you in the beginning. And then you bought into it, and you guys have created this ridiculous relationship founded in deception, and now you want to have some integrity to it? What is this, what they call honor among thieves? That old saying finally makes sense to me. Honor among thieves. So is he a liar? Yes. Is he deceptive? Yes. Is he untrustworthy? Yes. Is he likely to cheat on you? For sure. But so are you.
Right.
You're a liar, you're deceptive, and vindictive. You've gone to his wife, have you not?
Yes.
And so you thought, it's not enough that I'm going to cheat with her husband and have a baby with him. I think I'll go over there and rub it in her face.
No, absolutely not. When I went over there...
Oh, you meant this in a good way.
No.
Hi. I'm your husband. You told her that because you wanted to brighten her day?
No. I went to her because I wasn't getting the truth from him. And when I went over there, that was the only thing I needed to know. Are you together with him? What kind of relationship are you having? I never told her
Well, I need to add something to the list
anything.
then. In addition to being a liar and deceptive, you are selfish. You said, I needed answers, so I'll go over there to his wife and inject myself into her world and day to get some reassurance. You wanted to know if he was sleeping with her. And you say you consider it cheating if he's sleeping with his wife.
I know, it sounds ridiculous.
That's because it is.
It is.
You want to know if he's sleeping with his wife. Did you ask her?
I didn't ask her if she was sleeping with him.
What did you ask her?
Are you guys together working on your marriage? And
Did you tell her who you were?
She knew who I was.
Yeah. And what gave you the right to knock on that woman's door and use her to create your own reassurance? What the hell gives you the right to do that?
Nothing.
But you did. Do you have any sense of remorse whatsoever, what you've done to this woman?
I do. But when this started, Dr. Phil, he told me, I'm getting a divorce. We are separated. We're done. We live in separate rooms in the house. This wasn't me going out looking for something that I couldn't have.
Yes, it was. But you, and listen, you're both victim and perpetrator here. I mean, there's no question about it. And when I say you're a liar, it's not just that in the heat of the moment you tell people what they want to hear. I'm talking about you do premeditated fraud, correct? Is it not true that you went on the internet and downloaded divorce papers and dummied them up and gave them to her?
I actually went to the courthouse, but yeah.
You went to the courthouse and got them?
Yeah.
And gave them to her to trick her into thinking what was going on?
Yeah, buy more time, yeah.
Buy more time. So you go to the courthouse, you get fake divorce papers, and he comes and gives them to you.
They're real.
That's
yeah.
what, they weren't real. They're real paper. They did come from trees, you're right.
No, I mean, they came from the courthouse, yeah. And then you sign for them, and they say okay, and they record it in the county, and then I put down what I wanted and gave it to her, yeah.
Yeah. There's a legal term called fraud in the inducement. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm also not an idiot. You induced her fraudulently.
Yes, sir.
And now she's having your baby.
Yes.
Okay? The layers here just keep going on. We'll take a break. I'll be right back. got pregnant on purpose, by the way, right?
We planned it, yes.
Tell me what went through your head with another woman's husband.
Trevor has recently locked his phone, so I can't see who is texting him or who's calling him. That's suspicious. And when I asked to see his phone, he's pushing buttons before I can actually see.
Well, Jermaine says she recently figured out how to unlock Trevor's phone and was shocked. Really? Shocked by what she saw. What'd you see that shocked you?
A text from someone other than his wife that...
Another girl.
Another girl.
What'd it say?
She was texting him about her inevitable breakup with someone that was a friend of his, and she missed her walk and talk buddy. She could really use one now.
It'd be you.
Yep.
The walk and talk buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And you were shocked. Why would that surprise you that you have company? If he...
My focus was that the other woman was the wife, not this random woman.
You know, I've said this so many times. If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. If he will cheat with you, he will cheat on you. I'm curious what you at home think, right? So right now on drphil.com, we have a poll asking the following question. Do you think a man who cheats once will cheat again? Well, the response was a pretty adamant response. 76% said yes, and that leaves 24% that haven't got any sense. Okay. You know this is true. You're going to cheat on her. You
No.
know that about yourself, right?
I'm not going to do it.
You're not
I did
gonna
it.
do
I
it.
cheated the one time. The other girl was just a friend. That's what it was. I had the affair. I mean, how much lower in life can you put yourself? I mean, I feel
Have you-
like I'm about this tall today.
Have you cheated on her already? No. Go ahead, before you
Yeah,
say anything.
I was married, so yes, I did cheat on her.
Okay, but other than with your own wife, have you had other girls?
No, I have not. My wife, that was it.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
No, I don't, and he knows that. I believe he's still cheating, even all the way up to last week.
Yeah. Trevor has an interesting analogy when it comes to his marriage philosophy. You probably want to hear this because you'll know what you're buying into.
I kind of associated marriage with like buying a boat. The first day you buy it, it's the greatest thing out there. You put a ton of money into it, then when you get rid of the boat, that's the second best day of your life. That's how I felt about my first marriage, yeah.
So it's a great day when you get married, and it's a great day when you get out.
Married the first time, married the wrong person.
Do you think he's a high-risk candidate?
I do.
And you got pregnant on purpose, by the way, right?
We planned it, yes.
Yeah, you mapped this out and planned it.
Yes.
Tell me what went through your head when you're planning to have a baby with another woman's husband. And what did you say to yourself?
He's done with her. He's leaving her. He's done. And we have a future together. And that's the future I wanted, was with Trevor.
Would you have felt different or better if Trevor had come to you and said, listen, I really have feelings for you, but I'm in a marriage, and I don't feel that it's proper or appropriate, ethical or moral to launch into this relationship while I'm in this one. So I'm going to do what I need to do to conclude this marriage. And when I've done that and can walk freely in the sunshine, then I'm going to hope that you're still in my space, and I'm going to come to you and find you. But I owe it to her to finish this before I start this, and I owe it to you to finish this before I start this. How would you have felt?
That it would have been more credible on both parts.
As opposed to getting phony divorce papers.
Right. But I'm just as responsible because,
Oh, of course.
you know,
How did this start, by the way?
She found me on Facebook and then friended me.
We went to the same high school, so they always pop up, your friend knows this friend, kind of thing. And I saw his picture and friended him.
Did you remember him?
I did. He was a freshman, I was a senior. He was a hottie in school, and he was sweet, and, you know, I was like, wow.
So you were a hottie in school.
This isn't going any better for me, is it?
Oh, I'm just asking. So then you asked her if she wanted to be friends with benefits.
Oh, God, that was like 6 months later. We were having lunch one
Right.
day, yeah. And we were joking around, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there was anything serious that day. We were joking around, joke here, joke there, and then she left and went her way, and
Yeah, well, this baby's a real knee slapper.
yeah,
I mean, you got a child coming now.
I do.
Okay, we're going to talk some more about this, but I want you guys to pay attention to a story that I want to introduce here that has a lot to do with this child that you have right now. And then we're going to talk some more, but I want you to hear that story first. So after the break, I'm going to introduce you to somebody that was the product of an affair. We'll be right back.
I was 11 years old when my mom sat me down and told me that the man that I grew up with as my dad was not my father. I was the product of an affair. My entire life was a lie.
Well, Krista was only 11 years old when she says her whole world came crumbling down.
I was 11 years old when my mom sat me down and told me that the man that I grew up with as my dad was not my father and that she had had an affair. At that moment, my world was turned upside down. My entire life was a lie. Finding out that I was the product of an affair completely took my self-esteem and squashed it. I felt like my family looked at me different. When I think about my mom and what she did, I feel a lot of anger. I feel like she was selfish. She didn't think about the way this was going to affect my life. I was 16 when I lost my virginity. I was looking for love, so it was one boy to another boy to another boy. By 17, I went down to 80 pounds. The only thing I could control in my life was my eating. I ran away from home when I was 18 and got pregnant with my son. I have a lot of shame from what they did. When I look in the mirror, I see someone who's not worthy to be here, who's not worthy to be loved. I feel like I have my own scarlet letter I walk around with. I just want to have the burden of being the product of an affair lifted off my shoulders so that I can move on in my life.
So you said a burden.
Yeah.
You want it lifted off your shoulders. Tell me about the burden.
I feel that I didn't deserve to be born. I tore an entire family apart. My mom was married. She had 2 children. My biological father was married as well. And they had an ongoing affair. I was their second child. Their first one, they miscarried. I was planned because they were in love. And no one ever thought of how it was going to affect me. But she chose to stay married to her husband and have me, and he pretended he was my father.
And so you say what to yourself about that?
I say that my daddy died at the age of 51 because I was born, because he died of a broken heart because my mother left him when I was 11 years old. And if she was there, she would have taken care of him. And maybe he'd still be here. She wasn't there because she had an affair with a married man, and she was married. Not only was he having an affair with her, but he was having affairs with other women. And when I was 4 or 5 years old, he left with another younger woman and left out of my mom's life.
So you describe yourself as a bastard child
Yes.
and carry the burden of, I've just heard you click it off, tearing apart 2 families.
Yes.
being responsible for your father's death.
Yes.
You became anorexic, 5'5", 85 pounds, promiscuous at 16.
I just wanted to be loved.
Looking for love.
Yes.
So what do you
I've
think
had
when you hear
love.
this story?
I just feel like that baby's already got so many strikes against it, and that when the baby gets here, you can't love it enough. You have to love it 10 times more than you love any other baby, because that child is going to always feel, it's going to know that it tore up a family. I don't know if he has other children. And one day my brother turned around and said, "This is my half-sister." And it broke my heart, because I was always his sister, and now all of a sudden I'm his half-sister. His dad was my dad. He was my daddy, and he was a wonderful man, an absolutely wonderful man. And my father, he was not such a wonderful man, and he wasn't there until I was 11, and he didn't treat my mom very well, and he didn't
What do you
treat
think
me
about
very
what
well.
she's saying?
It's the truth. And I feel horrible because very selfish of me, like you said. You know, I went into this just thinking about us, not the product of what's going to affect not only us, but our families.
I know that my parents were the ones that had the affair, but I feel like every time someone looks at me, they know. They know that I'm a bad person, and that if I wasn't here, that there would be so many people that would be happier, because I ruined so much. And I just don't know how to get over that. My entire life was a lie. 11 years of my life was an entire lie, because my mother lied, my father lied, my daddy lied, my father's wife that lived up the road lied, because all 4 of those people knew it. All 4 of them knew whose child I was, and all 4 of them continued to lie to me. And then I grew up thinking I belonged to one family. I didn't belong to that family. I belonged to another family that wants absolutely nothing to do with me because of where I came from. And that's what I have to deal with.
And so she's doing the same thing your mother did.
Yes, my mother was in love.
Well, we're going to add something else to this conversation. When we come back, we're going to meet Krista's husband, who moved out of their house a month ago. You're going to find out why when we come back.
Being that I came from an affair, my marriage has been affected.
I felt like an outsider in my own marriage.
Shutting him out was the easiest thing to do. Being that I came from an affair, my marriage has been affected. I don't want to let him get too close. Recently, we decided to separate.
It wasn't until 2 years ago that I realized how much this affected her. I felt like an outsider in my own marriage.
I can't make a commitment to us until I make a commitment to finding peace with myself.
Shutting him out was the easiest thing to do. I have a really big fear of becoming my mom. I fear that I'm going to cheat on my husband.
My biggest fear is losing my wife.
I just wanted to have the happily ever after, and I don't think that's going to happen for me.
You left a month ago.
Yes.
Tell me why.
It was like she put up a shield, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. You know, it was over a course of 2 years, but it finally progressively got worse.
So you couldn't get through the wall. You couldn't get through the barrier.
I couldn't get through the wall.
Is that true?
Yes.
And you guys have been in a very unhealthy rhythm
Yes.
of
From
you're
the very
together,
beginning.
break up, together, break up, and it's almost always you that pulls out, right?
95% of the time, yes.
Okay, and this has been going on for how many years?
15.
15 years.
Yes, we've been married 11, going on 11, but our relationship's been for 15 years, yes.
And when you would leave, what did you do?
Go with other guys.
You go back to the pattern you've had before.
Yes,
You're looking for somebody to love you.
yes.
But what do you think about the fact that you've had a guy here for 15 years of your life, 11 married to you, that has hung in there when you have said day after day after day after day, love me, lovely, love me, get back. Love me, get back.
Exactly.
Love me, go, get back.
Yes.
Do you understand how crazy that makes him?
I do. He loves me no matter what I have done. And I have done a lot. And I mean, we literally got married. I woke up the next morning, looked at him, and I said, we should have never gotten married. And I walked out the door and I left. And I didn't come back for over a year. And yet he took me back. Mm-hmm. I don't deserve him to love me and to continue to be there for me.
But you don't deserve anything,
no,
right?
I don't.
Because you're a bastard child that ripped apart families and killed your father. I mean, that's the internal dialogue, right?
I just feel that I can't love because everyone I love gets hurt and dies, and I've hurt so many people. I don't want to hurt anymore, and it's just easier to have relationships where it's just about friends with benefits and we move on, and I don't have to be committed and I don't have to feel trapped in this relationship.
Are you done with this, or are you willing to work on it?
I'm willing to work on it.
When you think about and talk about reality of suicide, there are a lot of things that contribute to somebody taking their own lives. They often start happening before the person that's headed that way even realizes it. But the number one thing they believe is that the world and everybody in it would be better off without them.
That's exactly how I feel.
She has said that today on this stage. She said, everybody would be better off. I'm just a burden. I drag everybody down, everything down. So I'm telling you that you need to be sensitive to the fact that my perception is that she thinks there would just be a solution to all of this if she wasn't here. So that's a precaution that you need to be cognizant of. I'm sorry to burden you with that, but you need to be aware that I consider that to be on the radar. I don't want it to be by the end of the time that we leave here today, because I'm going to tell you something. We all have what I call an internal dialogue. It's a conversation that we have with ourselves,
right,
about ourselves and about other people. See, we don't respond to what happens in life. We respond to what we say to ourselves about what happens in life. You're responding to what you're saying to yourself. You're saying, I wasn't wanted. I shouldn't be here. I'm an illegitimate child.
Correct.
You're damaged goods, right?
That's correct. I feel like every...
And how could anybody love you, right? So if they start to, it feels really weird.
My mother lied to me. My own mother lied to me. I can't trust anybody else because they're just going to lie to me and hurt me too. They all do that.
Are you willing to do an experiment with me to get something out of you? Are you, Jermaine, willing to help her?
Yes.
We're going to do this when we come back. You're just joining us. I'm here with two ladies, Krista and Jermaine. Now, Krista is here today because she learned at 11 years of age that she was the product of an affair. Now, Jermaine here is having an affair right now with a married man and is pregnant with his baby. Krista has said, wow, let me tell you what you're dialing this child in for when he gets here. You have a lot of resentment towards your mother for what she did and what she hid from you.
I feel like I never had any answers.
Okay.
She can never give me an answer.
I want that chair right here, please. And Krista, I'd like you to sit in it. Like that chair around here facing. And I would like you to sit in that chair. I want you to scoot up until your knees are touching the outside of her chair. Now, Krista, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to leave them closed until I tell you. I want you to imagine that the woman in front of you, in fact, is your mother. I want you to see her in your mind's eye. And in just a moment, when I tell you to open your eyes, I want you to look your mother in her eyes, and I want you to tell her once and for all what she has done to you, what she has cheated you out of, what she has caused and created in your life. Open your eyes and say, Mother, you hurt me.
Mother, you hurt me so bad. You made me feel like I don't deserve to be here. You made me feel like that I was a burden to our entire family. I just hate you so much sometimes. And only because you're my mother do I love you, but I don't like who you are at all. And I wish I could change who my mother is.
Tell her, I hate what you have done to me. Say it like you mean it. This is your time.
I hate what you did to me. I hate that you were making me grow up feeling like I don't belong here. I want to feel like I matter in this life, and I want to love. I want to feel like I can be loved.
Look at her.
I can't.
Say it. How could you do this to me? Say it.
I can't.
Say it. You can say it. Claim your right to say it now.
How can you do this to me? How can you be so selfish to think that the only person that mattered was you and him? And when you made that decision to make my daddy, you should have just left it that way. You should have never told me the truth I didn't need to know. And I just wish you knew how to love me, because you never did. You could never love me. You never loved me enough. And you would tell me you didn't know how to love me, and every time you looked at me, you knew what you had done, and I just reminded you on a daily basis.
How much longer are you going to hurt?
I don't know.
How much longer are you going to sit around and feel like you're not good enough?
I don't know. I keep trying. I do so much to try to make myself feel like I'm an important person.
Isn't there a point in time where you have a duty to say, I didn't have any choices then, but I have a choice now?
I don't feel like I have choices.
Stand up. Stand up. You can stay right there, Jermaine. All right, now stand up. I want you to look at all of these people out here.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to look at them. Do they look like they're judging you?
No. Sometimes I just see disgust.
If you're disgusted by who this person is, stand up now. You see anybody standing?
No.
Now, let me ask you something, people. If you think this woman has hurt long enough, if you think she's carried the burden long enough, if you think it's time that she lets that 11-year-old little girl walk in the sunshine again, stand up for her right now. Look at these people. Come here. He stood up too. He stood up too. She stood up. Everybody stood up. There's a point at which this goes back to that 11-year-old little girl, and you are mistreating her. You didn't choose for them to have an affair. You didn't choose for them to hide this from you. You didn't choose for them to get divorces. You didn't choose for your father to get sick. You didn't choose for any of those things to happen. But you do have a choice now. You have a choice to use your life. And you're using it today. You've used it with her. Has she used her life for you today? And there are millions of people watching this right now. And you are making a difference.
I just want to be that 11-year-old happy girl again.
You have that choice, and it starts by giving yourself permission. The first step is you got to choose to forgive everybody in your life that has hurt you. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't mean when you forgive them, it doesn't mean that you say what you did was okay. It's not what that means. Right. What it means is I choose to not be in an emotional prison with you another minute of another hour of another day. But you got to make a choice, and it is a choice, by the way. You know, we think forgiveness is something that just hits us like a wave and we go, oh, wow, I've forgiven everybody. No, you make a conscious choice and you make it again every day. Because you don't need an excuse to sit on the sidelines. You need a purpose to get into this life. And today is the first step of that purpose. And look at these people. You got 250 people on your side. And I suspect several million more. But you got to hold yourself to a higher standard, and I'm going to get you some ongoing professional help to do just that. This is a beginning, not an end. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, we got a place to start here. All right, my final words for Jermaine and Trevor when we come back. We're back. I have Jermaine and Trevor back up here. They've been having an affair for a couple of years. There's a baby on the way, 5 months pregnant. What do you think about what's going on here today?
I feel like I am worthless. I made terrible decisions that have hurt a lot of people, and I don't even know what to say. Well,
you got a lot of cleaning up to do. There are some, listen, when you bring a child into this world, that's a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. And you need to prepare yourself to meet that responsibility. I think you're extremely immature. I think you have very little impulse control. And I think you need to work on those things and man up here and figure out what you need to do with your wife and your girlfriend and this baby coming on. I am more than willing to provide you with some professional help that will support you. Are you willing to put in the work to do that?
Yeah.
We will help you with this. We really help you. You've got some figuring out to do, right? Because one thing you know about Krista after listening to her, she doesn't seem to have much self-worth or self-esteem. And neither do you. Or you wouldn't be settling for what you're settling for. You have a priority here. Your undivided loyalty at this point needs to be to that child. If he fits into that picture, that's one thing. If he doesn't, that's another. But your undivided loyalty has to be to that child. And I'll provide you help with that as well. Okay?
Okay.
I want to introduce somebody else here. Ellen was 31 years old when she learned the truth about who her real father was and that she, too, was the product of an affair. And she wanted to let Krista know that she is not alone. So, Ellen, you've been watching all this with great interest, right?
Yes.
Tell me what you have to say.
Identification, and I want to acknowledge you for the courage it took, because I understand those feelings of being illegitimate. But like Dr. Phil said, you know, we didn't have a choice then. We do now. And when my mother looked me in the eye and said, please forgive me for my selfishness, you know, perception, my word is perception, and they had us. I mean, our parents had us. They had a choice in that. And so we were conceived in love. And it's what we do with it now. I know you're a mother. I don't want my daughter sitting in that chair saying the things to me that my mother heard and that you just said, your feelings. And I felt accountable to break that cycle.
Well, I think it would be great if you two meet up backstage. And Ellen, I just think it'd be great if you were just her new best friend and you guys talk about this. We'll be right back. been talking about affairs and children of affairs, and it is a perspective not many people think about when they jump into bed with somebody else's spouse. But I think this has been an important discussion. I certainly hope so. In fact, we posed this question to our audience. If you were conceived as a result of an affair, would you want to know? Because like you said, you said never even told you if it was going to go this way. The response was an overwhelming yes. 86% said yes, they would like to know. I wonder if they would vote the same way after watching everything that we've talked about today. I'm not sure. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Ellen also, who has written a book called Ellen Who? A Story of a Secret Love Child, which is available now at Barnes & Noble. So I hope they pick that up and take a look at it. You can find me on drphil.com, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil, he admits to hitting his wife.
Jeremy hit me with a belt buckle. If the violence doesn't stop, I am afraid that I'm gonna die.
So he grabs you, hits you, chokes you, and you're around for this. Why?
Because I love him.
You love who you wish he was, not who he is.
When a husband turns violent.
I see the good underneath him.
Stop making excuses for your abuser. Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. My first guest today is Gina, and she says that her fiance, Jeremy, is physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive. Now, these pictures are the only evidence that Gina says that she has regarding these attacks. Bruises on her neck and arm, a swollen, bloodied lip, and a hand with defensive wounds. Now, there were more, but she says Jeremy destroyed the others. It's pictures like these and stories like the ones you're about to see that made me launch my End the Silence on Domestic Violence campaign 2 years ago. All right? The fact is that 1 out of 4 women will fall victim to domestic violence at some point in their life. So I'm not going to stop talking about this if there's even the slightest chance that I can save 1 woman from joining that statistic. Now, sadly, my first guest, Gina, is one of these women. She says that she and her fiance, Jeremy, have been in about 50 fights in the last year. 50 fights. Jeremy disagrees and says that the number is closer to 20. Take a look.
Because of Jeremy hitting me in my mouth, my smile looks crooked. He busted loose my 3 front teeth, wraps his hands around my neck, all of his body weight onto my throat. I am in an abusive relationship. He smashed the keyboard against my leg.
I had her pinned against the kitchen counter.
He grabbed me, choking me.
I restrained her.
Pushed me up against the pool table. He pulled the bedpost and threatened to bring it down on me. My fiance, Jeremy, will beat me at least once a week, pin me up against a wall, choke me.
Gina has struck me, clawed me, thrown things at me.
I've kicked him, I've scratched him. I fight back out of anger. We've had at least 50 fights.
Gina does a lot of things to push my button. Gina will insult my manliness, throw things at me. I've choked her approximately 10 times.
Jeremy called me a filthy trash.
I have called Gina a whore, a slut.
Our first physical altercation occurred June 16th, 2011. He started yelling at me. I walked outside. Jeremy pushed me up against the frame of the garage door. My head hit right here.
Gina threatened to key my vehicle. Gina and I ended up wrestling on the ground for control of the keys, my logic went in the trash and my emotions took over.
He pinned me to the floor, pushing my face into the carpet, choked me, threw me on the ground like a rag doll. I didn't press charges because I figured it was just a one-time thing. Another time, we got into a really bad argument. Jeremy tore a ligament in my knee.
I wrestled her to the bed with the intention of making her listen to me.
He took my leg and turned it this way.
We both heard a painful noise from her knee. At the hospital, we told them she fell off a ladder.
It's really hard to believe if the violence doesn't stop. I am afraid that I'm going to die.
Okay, can I set some ground rules right in the beginning? Because, you know, I take this very seriously. I take the topic very seriously, and I take y'all's relationship very seriously. So we've got to tell the truth. Because if you guys really, truly want to make a difference in your lives together, then it starts with truth and clarity. Can we do that? Seriously.
My relationship with Jeremy means more to me than what other people think at this point.
Mm-hmm. Why are you here?
I'm here because I want the problems to end.
And what are the problems?
The problems are arguing.
A second. This is the first test. I just asked you a question, and I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath and think about it. I said, what are the problems? Really, no kidding, unvarnished, cut to the chase. What's the problem here?
The problem is the physical violence.
Mm-hmm. And are you physically violent with her?
Yes.
How does it start, and what do you do?
A lot of times when it starts, I snap, and I get angry, I yell, I scream at her, and I tend to be combative. I call her names, and we get physical. A lot of times it involves wrestling, and at its worst, choking.
Okay, I listen very carefully to what people say. You said, I snap, I get aggressive, I yell, I call names, we get physical. So are you attempting to obviate your role in that, or are you saying that it's just something the two of you do together? What are you saying?
No, I do become physical.
Okay, so you become physical. What is the worst thing that you've done to her physically?
The worst thing, there's been 2 times. One time when I injured her knee, and one time when I injured her teeth.
Mm-hmm. You injured her knee to the point that she had to have surgery on it. And that was from pushing and her falling, right? And then another time, you say your arm slipped and you hit her in the teeth. Correct. And cracked her teeth. You say this happens 50 times in a year. He says 20, like 30 makes a difference. But why is this happening?
I know that I nag, and I know that I have a tendency to push his buttons.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean push his buttons?
I bitch at him, I nag, and I get to him. I mean, I can admit that. I acknowledge that I've done things to hurt him too, emotionally.
Yeah. Why do you do that?
Because I want him to feel the pain that he's made me feel.
So you intend to hurt him. You say things that you know will hurt, that will cut him emotionally.
I'm resentful, and honestly, I feel annoyed by his presence sometimes because I'm so resentful.
So he hits you, grabs you, chokes you, pushes you physically, right?
Yes.
And you think part of that's your fault because you push the buttons and nag him and goad him.
I don't know whose fault it is anymore. I've heard him say things like, it's your fault that I'm this way. You make me hit you. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, after everything's said and done, some of it starts to make sense. I don't know if it's because I think about it too much, but some of it actually starts to make sense to me.
What makes sense to you?
The fact that I've hurt him and that's why he just gets so angry that he would hurt me.
So you say, okay, I get it now. I pushed him to the point that it's natural that he would do that.
I think so.
Yeah. So you've been at this a lot. You say 30 times, you say 50. According to Gina, you have choked her, you've pulled her hair, you've pushed her to the ground, shoved her face into the carpet, you've bruised her arms and legs, you have slammed her against the garage door, and you've thrown her on the ground like a rag doll.
Correct.
That's what she says. Do you agree with all that?
I agree.
You've done all that. You admit that you've wrestled her onto the bed. Your intention was to make her listen. So that's your approach to improving communication. I mean, wrestle her onto the bed, sit on top of her, because then I'll be more persuasive.
At the time, that was my emotional response. That obviously isn't a logical
So you've torn a
response.
ligament in her knee. According to Gina, that she has slapped you several times, and you threatened to bash her head in with a bedpost. Let me just be sure I got this all right. He's choked you, pulled your hair, pushed you to the ground, shoved your face in the carpet, bruised your arms and legs, slammed you against the door, thrown you around like a rag doll, tore a ligament in your knee, broke out your teeth, and driven a nail through your arm.
Yes.
We're going to talk about why Gina says she won't leave her fiancé ever, in spite of everything we've just talked about. We'll be right back.
I literally get into a rage. I get so angry.
What makes you so enraged that you pick up a weapon and beat the woman you love?
Gina and I have lied when speaking with other people about when she's had injuries.
Jeremy gave me a black eye, and then he told everyone that I had had a seizure. I have epilepsy and I do have grand mal seizures. When Jeremy tore a ligament in my knee, he told his dad that I had fallen from a ladder while cleaning the gutters.
Gina and I try to maintain the same story because we're obviously embarrassed about our behavior.
Well, that was Jeremy talking about the lies he and Gina tell about her injuries. Now, Gina says that when she was 3 months pregnant, the unthinkable happened. She says that Jeremy raped her.
Jeremy raped me while I was pregnant. He denied raping me for the longest time, and I tried explaining to him that no meant no. I brushed it off as miscommunication, that maybe I hadn't communicated with him well enough.
Did you rape her?
I've admitted to her that I did.
That's not what I asked you.
I did.
Are you telling me that because it's what you think I want to hear? Because I read in you that you don't really think that constituted a rape.
We talked a lot about it.
You said we were going to be honest.
I know. Honestly, I've thought a lot about it, and my mind is pulled in a couple different directions about it. Regardless, I know that what I did hurt Gina, and it was wrong.
All right, we'll come back to that, but continuing the hit parade, you've called her every name in the book. You've called her the B word, the word. You've called her whore, you've called her fat. Did he whip you with a belt?
Yes.
Did he take a keyboard and smash it into your legs?
Yes.
And he demeans you emotionally? Calls you fat? He's cheated on you?
Yes.
And you're around for this, why?
Because I love him and I see the good underneath all the pain that he feels, all the resentment, because I know that he has a past similar to mine, and that was actually one of the reasons why we connected so well.
All right. Well, hold that thought, because that's where we're going next. Now, earlier this year, Gina says that she suffered a whipping from Jeremy, a whipping that she'll never forget.
The most painful injury I've sustained from our fighting was when Jeremy hit me with a belt buckle. I'm not even sure what the fight was about. It was probably really stupid and childish. Jeremy pushed me onto the bed so that I was on my stomach, folded the belt in half, and brought it down against my back as hard and as fast as he could, like that. I remember the sound that it made, and I remember the crack and the way it echoed throughout this room, and it makes me sick to my stomach. There was bleeding under the skin. My bruise is probably about the size of my 2 fists put together.
What do you say about that?
There's really nothing that I can say other than it was purely an emotional reaction during one of the fights we had.
You say that as though you shift into another gear, and that kind of excuses it. Like, you know intellectually it's wrong, but emotionally you did it. You get that's not an excuse, right?
Correct.
Why do you permit this from yourself? Why do you accept this from you? I got a lot of questions about why you accept it from him, but I want to know why you accept this behavior from you.
Honestly, it's one of those things where I literally get into a rage. I get so angry that my logic and my common sense just gets thrown out the window.
Well, what makes you so angry?
A lot of times it's reacting to the things that are done to me.
Like what? What makes you so enraged that you pick up a weapon and beat the woman you love?
A lot of times it's in response to things that are done to me previously. I mean, for example, Gina and I have had several fights where she's been the aggressor, or things have been thrown at me, things in the house have been destroyed or damaged, and I'm trying to stop her from doing these things.
And this is your way of stopping her? You're going to beat her down where she won't do it anymore? What is it that was torn up in the house that was so valuable that you were willing to sacrifice your character, your definition as a man, and who you are and will be? What was it that was it a clock? Was it a chair? What is your character worth? What was it that was torn up that you said, for this, I'm willing to sacrifice who I have become as a man?
Several times. It ranges from car keys, it can range from computer equipment, it could be food, and just other trinkets and things that are sitting out, whatever's within reach.
How does that sound as you hear yourself say it? I was willing to sacrifice my character as a man for a burrito and a keyboard?
It sounds pretty stupid.
You know why it sounds stupid?
Because it does.
Seriously, come on. You just said, because you understand, when you put your hands on a woman in anger, when you violate a woman, you have violated and sacrificed your own character. You have behaved in a totally unacceptable, punk, scumbag sort of way. Is there any other way to say it? And you're doing that, you say you're doing that because of car keys, computer equipment, food, or trinkets. Now, if I thought you were that stupid, I would move to have you locked up. But I want to tell you what I really think. You just don't have the power to evoke this kind of response from someone.
I would rather him yell at me than ignore me.
I think that in life, people fight about, talk about, and hide behind topics because they're unwilling to deal with the issues that underlie the topics. And I have a strong, strong suspicion that you have been on the other end of this imbalance of power. I have the strong suspicion that you didn't have the strength, the size, the wherewithal to fight back. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
And so you don't ever want to be out of control again.
Right.
But that's the issue. You're not beating her over some keys. You're not beating her over some food. You've got a rage inside that needs to be healed. That does not excuse what you're doing in any way, shape, or form. But it should identify for you, look, this kind of rage comes from the inside out. It's not reactive to what people do. I'm sorry, you just don't have the power to evoke this kind of response from someone. You may think you do, and you may even sometimes want to be someone that can be so important to him and so powerful for him that you can drive him over the edge and make him crazy. It may give you a sense of power sometimes to push those buttons and say, I can hurt him back. But the truth is, that kind of rage, that kind of anger, that kind of violence comes from the inside out, not from the outside in.
I guess the way I feel is that there have been times where, he doesn't spend a lot of time with me, and I feel that negative attention is better than no attention. I know that's not logical, but that's what my heart tells me, that I would rather him yell at me than ignore me.
And you understand what he and I were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
Because we can tell the same story about you. Because you've been hurt long before him.
Yes, sir.
True?
Yes, sir.
What did they do to you?
I was raped when I was 11.
And did you feel powerless?
Yes, sir.
And when you think about it, does it put a knot in your stomach?
Yes, sir.
And you can think about it so vividly that it's as though it happened earlier today, can you not?
I can almost feel it.
You can smell the smell.
Yes, sir.
You can hear the breathing. It's all very real and vivid to you, is it not?
Yes, sir.
It changed who you were.
Yes, sir.
So we have two damaged people that come together and damage each other. True?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that what's going on here?
That's exactly what's going on.
This isn't about keys. It's not even about knees or teeth. It's about a wounded soul. And that has to stop. Gina and Jeremy have a son. And surprise, surprise, he's starting to show violent and aggressive tendencies. Is he mimicking his parents? Be right back.
The way that our fights escalate is more of an analogy. If one party will bring a knife, the next person will bring a gun. Then the next person pulls out a rifle, the next person pulls out a grenade. And it keeps escalating higher and higher until it finally explodes.
Well, that was Jeremy explaining how his fights with Gina turned physical. Now, Gina says that her son is starting to act out, and she feels like the worst mom ever. Take a look.
Stop throwing a fit. I don't feel that I'm a good mom. Connor, stop. When I spend all of my energy fighting with Jeremy, it feels like I have none left for our son. He does act out more than the average 2-year-old. Ow! Connor, don't bite me. He'll bite us, he'll scream, he'll hit us, slap us in the face, hold my hair. I can see the anger inside of him. Connor, stop. He can't control it. I think he has seen what goes on between me and Jeremy, and he thinks it's perfectly acceptable. My biggest fear is that my son will grow up thinking that it's okay to hurt people.
Okay. Gina, you just said in the tape piece that your son is starting to think this is perfectly okay.
He's exhibiting behaviors that tell me that.
Mm-hmm. Now, didn't you tell us that despite everything we've been talking about here, being called every name, cheated on, hit, choked, pushed, hurt, that you never actually realized you were being abused until you watched one of my shows on End the Silence on Domestic Violence?
I guess I didn't really want to believe it. I think I was in denial for the longest time about what was happening to me. I was trying to sweep it under the rug. And every time I would see a show on that season, I felt a knot in my stomach because I could connect with the guest that you had, and it just felt like a knife going through my chest.
Well, what you just said has me and a staff of 300 here saying yes, because that's exactly why we do those shows, these shows. You are now that show. It's exactly why we do this. I want to make people think about what they're doing. I want to make people think about what they're accepting from themselves and each other. Let me be very clear. You are programming your son to be an abuser. You are programming him to be aggressive and violent and violate the rights of other people. You are teaching him that when you feel frustration, anger, rage, you go physical. You just overwhelm someone, you overpower somebody. And you didn't invent this. I mean, where do you think bullies come from? Bullies come from homes where bullying is manifest. They come from homes where their parents bully them, and their parents bully each other, and their parents exhibit behavior where they manage by intimidation and compel someone to do what they want them to do. You guys couldn't be creating a bully any more effectively than if you had gone into a laboratory like Weird Science and designed one to pop out. And he deserves a better chance than that.
I know that. That's why I feel horrible. I don't feel like a good mother. I told him the day he was born, I held him in my arms and I told him, I looked down at him and I promised him, all 7 pounds and 15 ounces, I will protect you. I will be there for you. I will protect you from all harm. But I'm not.
Well, not only are you not protecting him from harm, you are becoming the harmer.
I am.
You are becoming the toxic element in his life, both of you.
I am.
I mean, come on. So why keep doing this? For most people, it's hard to understand why someone like Gina would stay in an abusive relationship like this. Her reason is actually very common.
If Jeremy and I were to split up, I'd never be able to love another man again. I want to spend the rest of my life with Jeremy. I absolutely love Jeremy. I have never loved a man so much in my life. I don't excuse the abuse, but I do want to give Jeremy a chance because I can see the good that's underneath all the pain that he's feeling. If Jeremy and I were to split up, I'd never be able to love another man again. I want to spend the rest of my life with Jeremy.
Well, interestingly enough, that can be a very short period of time if you continue what you're doing. that life you're going to spend the rest of with him. You guys understand here that you're playing a very dangerous game.
We do.
These things that you're doing, you're bigger, stronger, more powerful. That's why men can't put their hands on women in anger. There's an imbalance of power. It is unfair. It's not an even trade. And not that you should ever do it under any circumstance, but that is one reason you just don't put your hands on a woman in anger. It's not fair. Just like it wasn't fair when what was done to you was done to you. It wasn't fair when what was done to you was done to you. And you have to make some decisions right here, right now, today. This legacy has to stop. You were both hurt and abused until somebody says, I'm stopping that legacy right here. That will not be what I pass on to my child. It doesn't go generation to generation to generation. You can make a choice to change it. You can make a choice. You need a wake-up call to do it. Well, here I am. I want to be that wake-up call. And you have to stop being in denial. You have to stop making excuses. You have to stop trying to perpetuate this. You're not responsible for it. You say, well, I egg him on. Well, yeah, that's not smart. It's very cliche of you to say negative attention is better than no attention at all. But it's not acceptable. It is not okay for your son. It's not okay for your son. He deserves better than that. And you have to decide, you know what? I'm walking out of my history right now. I'm walking out of my history. I have a history of abuse. I have a history of being dominated, hurt, raped, molested, all of these things, but I'm walking out of that history right now. I'm going to stand up and walk out of it because I'm going to require more of myself. I'm going to require more of him. I'm going to require more for my child. You've got to decide, no more denial, no more saying, well, you know, I'm just trapped. I'll love him forever. Look, your child needs a mother, not a martyr. He doesn't need someone's grave to go to every day because you two get in some stupid fight and you fall down and hit your head on the corner of a table and you're dead. And you know what happens then? They bury you, they put you in prison for manslaughter, and your child goes to foster care. That's the future of this family if you don't wake up and do something different. You love who you wish he was, not who he is. And if he leaves, you will miss who you wish left. But it won't be him.
I hate the fact that the fighting has occurred so frequently. My therapist told me that I should run away as fast as I can. I have tried to leave several times in order to avoid a fight, but Gina has baited me to come back in the house or threaten me in some manner. She has said, please don't leave me alone. Blocked the doorway to the garage. She has literally stood in front of the car to prevent me from moving forward.
Okay, look, you disrespect each other, you attack each other, you fight in front of your kids, you've cheated. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And that can and will change. Now, first off, you have to make a resolve that you will not now nor ever be hit on or beat on another time in your life. You have to make that resolve right here, right now. If you said, I didn't realize, I was in denial, well, snap out of that. The denial is gone, right? Because I'm telling you that is not okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir. That's not the only reason I haven't called the police, though.
Do you want to talk about another reason? Do you need more reasons than that?
There have been times where he's taken my cell phone from me or literally shut the cell phone service off.
How long has this been going on? How long y'all been together?
We've been together for 2.5 years.
So in that time, there was never a time you could have called the authorities? Of course there was. You could have called them this morning from the green room. We got a phone in there. You could go to the grocery store and use an old payphone. Don't tell me that you haven't had a chance to call.
He's also...
Whoa, 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 whoa. No, you don't just change the subject. Ma'am.
I also feel extremely...
No. You've had an opportunity to call.
There have been opportunities.
Okay, so don't tell me that, well, there's other reasons I couldn't call, like you took my cell phone. There have been times you couldn't call, but there have been times you could. So don't just wipe that away like, well, I hear what you said, but he took my cell phone one time, or he turned it off. You've had opportunities to reach out, you just haven't done it.
Correct.
But you have now, you're here.
Right.
So give yourself credit for that. Don't excuse that you didn't. Take pride in the fact that you did. You're here. You're on the Dr. Phil Show. How many of my shows do you watch?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
I've been watching you since I was in high school and probably watch every night, even the reruns.
And it's taken you this long.
No, I mean,
it's taken, what, 15 years?
I know better. I know better. In the back of my head, logically, I know better. I don't want to admit it because I love him.
Okay, look.
I don't want to see him as an abuser.
Okay, but he is. You love who you wish he was, not who he is. And if he leaves, you will miss who you wish left. But it won't be him. But I'm not going to leave him like this, okay? So it's okay to acknowledge that he is not acceptable as he is. Okay?
It's not acceptable.
Well, then quit making excuses for him. And don't tell me that your self-esteem is not the issue here. Your self-esteem is as low as it can get.
I'm not going to lie to you. I hate myself.
I know. I know that. I just need to be sure you know I know that. And I want to know that you know that I know that you know that.
I think everybody in this room knows.
Well, good. But you can't change what you don't acknowledge. He is behaving like a jerk. He is behaving like a jerk. That is not okay. I did not say he is a jerk. Because I don't believe that. I really don't. I do not think this is a bad, evil man.
And that's what I told the producers, is that I see the good underneath him.
Okay.
Because I experienced it at one time.
It's okay for me to take up for him. It's not okay for you to take up for him. Stop making excuses for your abuser. Okay?
Okay.
Stop making excuses for your abuser. Is it okay for him to put his hands on you in anger?
No.
Is it okay for him to call you demeaning names?
No.
Is it okay for him to cheat on you?
No.
Is it okay for him to isolate you?
No.
Okay. Then there is no but. That's the end of that story. So if he doesn't change that, which he can, then you need to get out of this relationship. You know you got to change this.
Yes, I do.
This is not who you want to be.
Yes, definitely.
You can't be proud of this. You go throw her down, rub her face on the carpet, and then go look in the mirror. What do you see? That's not something you're proud of, right?
Not at all.
So you're a big, tough guy. You can bounce a woman around. You don't like that about yourself.
No, I hate it, in fact.
And you need to stop that. And to stop that, you've got to put out the fire inside. You got to get the rage inside. And you've got to decide men just don't do that to women. It's not okay. It's not okay to do that to a woman. Ever, never, ever. And if you continue to do it, I will haunt her till she prosecutes you and leaves you. I'm serious. I will. But I don't think that's what you're going to do, because I think you want to change this. What we've got to do is take away your need to vent that rage, right? Mm-hmm. And you need that for peace in yourself.
I do.
And then you can come to her as a respectful husband and father and do what you need to do. This can change. I'm going to get you some serious help about this. And it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. but you have to resolve what's going on inside you to heal yourself and this family. But that's your job. See, I think there's a role of the man in the family, and I think you're to be a leader, a provider, a protector, and a teacher. And you're violating every one of those right now. And you can't take up that mantle until you heal what's going on inside you. But I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to get you that help to help you turn that corner, okay? And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with you. Not as a couple right now, but individually. And we're going to give you the resources to hit the panic button if you need help to get you out of there. But I think he's going to surprise you.
I hope so.
I think he's going to surprise you, aren't you?
I want to. Badly.
All right, we're going to follow this very closely. October is National Domestic Abuse Awareness Month, so don't let another day go by without asking for help. Everyone has the right to live without fear and violence. For more information on our End the Silence on Domestic Violence campaign, go to drphil.com, because there are all kinds of resources, information, quizzes, checklists, and security programs, how to get out of a situation like that safely. There's all kinds of resources there and numbers to call if you need help. And by the way, if you call a domestic violence hotline, nobody's going to pressure you. Nobody's going to ask for your name. They're just there to listen and talk and give you information if you want it. So don't feel like, oh, they're going to try to push me into something. If you need help or you know someone that does, then call the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Help is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Or you can go to nnedv.org, the website for the National Network to End Domestic Violence. And we partner with both of these guys and work together. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My son has the most debilitating OCD.
I only eat the egg whites.
What if a fleck of yolk were to get into the egg white?
Out of control, out of control. I don't even like thinking about it.
My body counts how many times I blink, so I don't really blink.
You spend 13 hours a day on ritualistic behavior.
I'm spinning. I'm just going and going and going.
It feels like there's a pinata in my brain, and you break it. Everything comes out.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, green. Take it.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. All right, here's a question for you. What did you do this morning when you woke up? Do you have a routine? You get up, make coffee, take a shower, read the paper, get dressed, head out the door. But some people are imprisoned by rituals. And today my guests say that these simple daily routines that we all do are making their lives a hell. Now, my first guest, Jennifer, says that she has been suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, for over 20 years. What we want to do today is take an intelligent look at this serious situation and have a conversation about it. Now, take a look at a basic task of cracking an egg.
I'm allowed to have 4 eggs every day, but I only eat the egg whites. So in my head, I usually count my eggs because I want to make sure that I don't eat more than 4. So I see that there's 3 there and 1 in my hand. So I'm good. And I always look at the yolk to make sure that some didn't get in the bowl. And of course, when you know it, the yolk broke. So. Anyways, I'm not going through this whole process. I'm not even having my eggs tonight because I'm not hungry anymore. I'm not doing this. Can you move, please? I'll just maybe cook them a different way. I'll boil them or something. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. It's just, it takes too much time to do this because of stupid yolk. I'm just frustrated. I shouldn't be standing here. I should be watching TV or getting ready to go to bed. Or doing something that I want to straighten up. Everything is all over the place. My floors are a mess, and I just feel like everything's a mess.
Well, it sometimes takes Jennifer up to 5 hours just to get out of the house, and that's to just go to the gym. Now, Jennifer takes us inside the world of OCD, starting when she woke up at 3:30 in the afternoon. Take a look.
Right now, it is a little bit after 3:30 in the afternoon. Just getting up now to start my day. Last night was horrible. I only fell asleep about 7 o'clock this morning. I want to get up, tidy around, make my bed, start the laundry, clean the litter box. I'm just lint brushing some of Zoe's favorite spots. I like to do this just to keep the fur off my furniture. Usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I give everything in my kitchen, the surface areas, I just wipe them off, clean them down. So I just kind of backtrack in my head. I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, okay. Every Thursday, I usually do the lint brushing, but I stand here for a minute and kind of replay it in my head because it doesn't feel like it's done. I just gotta think for a minute to see if I did it.
You really don't know?
No, I know that I did it, but it doesn't feel like I did, and I want to do it again. But if I remember something from doing it, then that's kind of my proof that I did it. I remember doing it because I told you something about Zoe. I do her favorite spots. So that's done. So it's kind of like a check mark in my brain. Okay, that's done. So now I have to fix this tape so that it's at the right spots, that I know that it did tape. There. And I have to say this in this order, my last 4 check marks of the day. I went down to check the mail, there was nothing. I found the spot, it was Chad and Melanie, so days did tape. I have that. This is for my protein drink after. I'm allowed to have that today because it's Thursday, and then I open up the fridge and I see my orange. And that's something that I'm allowed to have today, too.
Who's allowing or not allowing you to have things?
Me? I believe that I have issues with food. I'm gonna start measuring some cereal to eat. So sometimes I just double check on the side of the box, a half a cup, and this says a half a cup. Sometimes I have to stare a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm not making a mistake with the measuring cup. And I see that it says a half a cup and this is a half a cup. So I just make sure that they're all lying flat as much as I can. Oh, this doesn't feel right. I need to start again. Now what I'm going to do is pour some milk for dinner later. I like to make sure that I have a little bit less than a half a cup. And I usually hold it up at eye's length to make sure, and then I'm gonna pour some out. But what I do to make sure that it's not above the half is I usually put it on the top shelf in my fridge, and then I just have to stare at it for a few minutes. So I can see that it's a little bit less. Just measure. This weighs 0.8, but I just want to make sure. So I usually just weigh it a couple of times. It says 0.8. 0.8. I usually don't like any of my food to weigh more than 7.6. So I know that this has to weigh 8.4. Some of this is gonna have to go in the garbage. I like it filled right to the top. I'm usually always repeating the number of water glasses I have in my head so that I don't lose track. The last thing I do before I head out is I just recheck my freezer, make sure everything is in order. And I look in here, and I look in the garbage to make sure I see my cashew wrapper, so I know that that's what I ate and that's the only thing that I had. Right now I'm just thinking I had a glass before I had my cashew bar and I had a glass after my cashew bar. So I've had 2 glasses, I took my vitamins, so I'm good to go.
Well, it took Jennifer 5 hours to get out of the house that day, so what you saw was a condensed version of that. Let's take a look at what happens on her way to the gym.
I feel like a robot most of the time. I feel like everything I do is dictated by the OCD. Everything is scheduled and rigid and regimented. And the moment I step out of those boundaries, then I feel out of control. But it doesn't make any sense because the OCD is the thing that's out of control. I sometimes say that I would rather be in heaven. And in here, in this world, I just feel like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. So I think that's really why I sleep a lot. I try to imagine my life without OCD, but it just seems so completely foreign. I don't want to live with OCD, but I don't know if I know how to live without it. What would I do with my time? That would be scary a little bit to think that I have all this free time, and what would I do? I'm just lost. I don't know who I am.
Well, Jennifer's best friend Howard says he is so desperate to get her help that he is willing to do anything, even if it means taking her out of her comfort zone. Take a look.
When I first met Jennifer, her OCD was nowhere as drastic or as bad as it is now. Jennifer's OCD right now is at an extreme. I try to be there for Jennifer in as many ways possible. As far as emotional reassurance, I'm there for her financially. I help her with her bills, possibly from $800 to $1,000 a month. The trip to LA for the show, there will be a lot of planning to try and make sure everything goes smoothly. Whenever we travel and there's a hotel involved, I usually have aluminum foil and tape packed to cover up the windows and make sure that no sunlight can get through. She has to sleep pretty much in total darkness. I'll be getting information from the hotel ahead of time as far as where there's a grocery store, checking with them to make sure that there's a refrigerator in the room for her so that she can keep whatever food and things that she needs. I'll also be checking with the hotel just to verify that there is a gym that she'll have access to with the right equipment. I think the world of Jennifer. Nobody should have to go through the hell that she goes through on a daily basis. I just couldn't live with myself if I turned my back on her. If Jennifer doesn't get help, my greatest fear is that she's going to give up hope, that she will finally just feel that there's nothing worth living for.
Well, next, we're going to meet Jennifer, and she comes clean about the lies she says she's telling to the ones that she loves. And later, we're going to meet a mother and father who say they feel like prisoners in their own home because of their son's OCD. How is this going so far since you came out here and you and I sat down and talked?
I kind of just want it over with. It's just, it's really hard. I feel trapped. I feel like I have been in prison since I was probably about 14 years old. Like I'm in prison in my own head. It just feels like I'm in this tangled circle with the OCD and the food issues and then this constant sleep anxiety. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I feel like I'm constantly aggravating people or disappointing them because of the way that I am, and I just wish I could be normal.
Well, that was Jennifer, and she's been living with her OCD for over 20 years. Now, her best friend Howard says that her life is so exhausting for her that there's just no way that she can keep this up, and he desperately wants to get her some help. So thank you for reaching out. How do you feel about being here today, and how are you feeling right now?
Just a little bit embarrassed. It's just hard to show that side of my life. I'm scared.
How much do you tell your mother about all of this, and what does she not know about your rituals?
I think she thinks that I'm a little bit further along in beating them or not doing things to the extent that I do. I just want to protect her a little bit. I don't really want her to know the full scope and the full depth of what I go through.
Help me understand your internal dialogue. You took an hour trying to break 4 eggs exactly the way you want them broken, which meant no yolk included at all in what you were draining off, the whites, right? What is your fear if a fleck of yolk were to get into the egg white?
Out of control. Out of control. I don't even like thinking about it.
We did some calculation, and it appears that you spend 13 hours and 25 minutes a day on ritualistic behavior. Now, if we took that all away, you eliminated it all from your life, say 13 hours of it, 25 minutes to actually do the things maybe, what would you think about that 13 hours of free time? Is that overwhelming?
I think it would be fabulous, but I don't know if I know how to live in that. I don't want to live with the OCD at all. Nobody wants it gone more than I do, but I don't know how to live without it.
So your OCD is like a not very good old friend.
I think so.
It's not a good friend, but it's an old friend. You don't like certain things about it,
I hate everything about it.
It's the evil you know.
It's all I know.
You had to breach a lot of your rituals to come here.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard was it to get on that plane? How hard was it to be here right now?
It's hard right now. It's still, I'm going, in my head constantly I'm doing checklists, like what day of the week it is, what does that mean for home? I had to write out things before I got on the plane. Okay, this day I'm not going to be home, so let's get this done now. I get very overwhelmed, so everything that I had to do if I was home was pretty much done ahead of time or is going to be done when I get back. When I get back home off the plane, I'm going to be exhausted and tired, but I want things done, and if I have to stay up all night doing it, I'll do it. Everything, I feel completely out of control because my food isn't exactly the same. I'm just, it's making me crazy.
Yeah. How is this going so far since you came out here and you and I sat down and talked?
It's good, but I kind of just want it over with because I got to hurry up and get back to the hotel and do 2 workouts and, you know, try and get something to eat and wondering what I'm going to take tonight to go to sleep. And I'm wanting it done and over with, but I want help. But I'm thinking about everything that I have to do when I get back to the hotel. I'm spinning. I sound like I'm on crack. I'm just going and going and going and going in my head.
Well, we're going to take a break, not a very long one, and then we'll be right back. So the question is, does Jennifer want help, and what would she do if all of this time came back into her life? We'll see what she has to say about that when we come back. What's going to happen in your life? Where are you going to be 5 years from now?
I think I'm just a stroke/heart attack waiting to happen.
Well, 2.2 million people in the U.S. suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, and you always hear about it as OCD. And we're talking about repetitive thoughts and actions that can cause a really disruption to your life. It's anxiety-based, and it can cause people to feel really trapped in their own mind. Those around them don't know how to deal with it. In this case, Jennifer says she was bullied as a child because of the odd behavior. and she's here with her best friend, Howard, and we're talking about what to do. Now, when people use OCD kind of as slang sometimes and don't even really know what it means, but what we're talking about is obsessive thoughts and compulsive behavior. So there's two components to it, the obsessive thought. Do you have an obsessive thought pattern that stays with you a lot? Do you have things that are like chants or mantras that you have to repeat on a regular basis?
Do you mean mental compulsions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
You want me to say what I...
Sure.
They're all 7s, they're all less than 8. I can weigh them again next week. This month I had to get weighed and get my gym program done and get my renewal done. My renewal's done and good for 6 months. My gym program was done. I don't have to do that this month. I already got weighed this month, so next month all I have to do is get weighed. My highlights were done, so I can do that in a couple months. I don't have to worry about it. And then I go through a checklist of...
Okay, if you said that again, would you say it exactly the same way?
Probably.
Say it again.
They're all 7s, they're all less than 8. I can weigh them again next week. This month I got weighed and I got my... It's different because I feel kind of nervous because the cameras, but I go through a checklist of my gym program, my gym renewal, my highlights done, what was done this month. I already got weighed, I got my program done, I got my hair done. This month all I have to do coming up is get weighed.
Okay, and as you're saying that, do you feel a lessening of anxiety? For you, it's kind of like taking a deep breath.
Yeah, and I always repeat the number of water glasses in my head. There's a lot of scenarios that I replay in my head.
What's going to happen in your life? Where are you going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What's going to happen?
I don't know, hopefully dead. I don't know. I think I'm just a stroke/heart attack waiting to happen. I'm just a ball of stress. I hate my life.
This is Dr. Frank Lawless right here. You've probably seen Frank on the show.
So much about you, and I have your book, and...
Yeah, and Dr. Lawless is the chairman of our advisory board. And I asked him to come today because I wanted you to have a chance to meet him and sit and talk with him, because I think Dr. Lawless has some thoughts and resources that he would like to start adding to the repertoire of things you use to control this, because right now you're so deep into it that it may not seem apparent to you, but it is apparent to me that you can control this. I mean, I believe that to the core of my soul, and Dr. Lawless has written a book called Retraining the Brain, which is a really critical element of OCD. And Dr. Lawless, you think you have some things to offer her, right?
Absolutely.
I want to do this with you, not to you. So I just want to make it available to you, and if you want to do it, it's our gift to you. When we return, we're going to meet a mother and father who say their son's OCD is so severe that they're afraid to even leave him alone. Now, he's 25, and he's not living on his own like Jennifer is, so we're going to talk about that, and then some methodology, some things that can really turn this around. We'll be right back.
My son Michael has the most debilitating OCD.
I'll get sweaty, I'll cry, I'll hit myself.
Michael! People tell me the only thing you could do is have him committed.
I'm not giving up on this kid. I love him too much.
Imagine putting your healthy, happy, and normal 13-year-old son to bed one night only to wake up the next morning and find out he is not the same that he was the day before. Now, that's what happened to my next guest, Pam and Jack. Life as they knew it changed forever when their son was diagnosed with OCD. Now, at 25, Michael still lives at home, and they say his disease is so extreme that they're really afraid to even be alone with him. Take a look.
My son Michael has the most debilitating OCD.
Michael! My OCD is not your usual type of OCD, which is hand washing, cleaning 30 times a day. Mine's all what you call sensory OCD.
Come on, body, work!
Everything on my body is all about perfectionism. When something doesn't feel right, what my body says is three things. Did I hear it right? Did it seem right? And did it feel right? When I swallow, I gotta make sure it's perfect. If you swallow, there's noises that your body makes. Now, I do it really fast, so it doesn't make any noises. The longest time it took me to do that was 255 different swallows. I don't really blink. My body counts how many times I blink, and I just basically train my body. If I can't blink, I can't blink. So I just kind of like go with that kind of halfway blink. The perfect cough is basically what it is it's 3 times. And they have to be the same pitch. The third one's got to be a high-pitched cough. I started having OCD tendencies when I was 13 years old.
When he was around 13, my husband and I were sleeping, and Michael walks into our room screaming. And I said, Mike, what's wrong? And he says, I can't dress myself. He couldn't put one sock on. He was fine the day before.
Hi, is the doctor in?
Pam and I were on the internet 24/7 trying to find help.
We've tried everything. We went to a hypnotist. We did acupuncture.
We've even tried a light treatment. Our latest one was horse therapy. I had some friends say that, Jack, the only thing you could do is have him committed. I said, that ain't gonna happen.
I'm not giving up on this kid. I love him too much. And that's one of the reasons that I called in, because there's no way I was gonna give up on him. I love him. And he loves him just as much, but he can't stand seeing him go through it.
He's not just my son, he's my buddy. We got a good relationship. It's heart-wrenching.
Michael!
You were very animated at the end of that piece, for example. You were yelling, actually screaming, and kind of fighting within yourself. What do you think when you see that?
It feels like there's a pinata in my brain. When you have a pinata and you break it, everything comes out. And after I just saw that, I'm like, Mom, Dad, you had to watch that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to go through their son that they loved so much, to go through that every single day. And no one knows what the real answer is. My OCD is all different. It just is hurt, it's pain, it's guilt. It's like, holy cow.
And it's hard for you guys to watch this, right?
It's very hard, but we live with it 24/7.
You say that there are times that you're actually afraid of him. Not that he would want to do something, but you're afraid of him. What is it you're afraid of?
Well, he was on some medication, and it caused him to be very angry, and it was like living with a monster. My son, who is the most giving, loving person anybody could ever meet, had turned into a monster.
Michael says that his OCD does cause him from time to time to go into a trance state. Take a look.
When I was about 9 years old or 10 years old, that's when trances started to hit. When a trance comes on, I can't feel it. They just hit me like lightning. What a trance looks like is my body, I call it out of commission. I can't do anything, and it could take a matter of hours. And the longer it takes, the more scared I get. The longest trance I've been in was 21 hours. When I'm in a trance, I always count in numerical order, but I wait for the odd numbers. I'm aware of everything around me. I can hear everything. I can see everything. My body gets very, very sticky.
When he goes into a trance, he needs dead silence in the house. If I want to talk on the phone, I'd have to sneak outside in my backyard and talk really softly because his hearing is different than everybody else's. One day he was screaming because he heard a leaf drop. I've told everybody, please, just don't call the house. I said, if you call and he's in a trance, he has to start all over.
Trances are very, very hard to be in. It felt right. My brain's like a nice big fluffy pillow. What it doesn't get accepted, it feels like someone put a knife in my brain. It feels very sharp. It's very, very painful.
He's had these trances throughout his life, but for the last 9 months, it's the worst I've ever seen. I've got holes in every wall.
I'll get sweaty, I'll cry, I'll hit myself.
Michael!
As a parent, you just want to die, because you feel helpless. Nobody has any answers for you.
People and friends have said, well, he's doing it for attention. But we know for a fact it's not attention. There's something in his brain that is triggering this. What is it? It's the $1 million question. We don't know.
Jack, just father to father, what's it do to you to see your boy going through this?
It tears you apart. I mean, you know, last month I had to put my mom to rest. She passed away. And Michael came to me and said, you know, Dad, you don't know how jealous I am of Grandma. I wish that was me. And it's tough.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, Pam blames herself for Michael's OCD. We're going to find out why when we return. And we're getting ready to talk about some very inspirational work that's being done with OCD. We'll be right back.
I blame myself all the time. When I was pregnant of him, I went into the hospital. They put me on morphine for just a day. They said, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen to the baby. And then as soon as this all happened, then I said, oh my God, what did I do to him? It had to be me.
I'm here with Jack and Pam and their 25-year-old son, Michael, who was diagnosed with OCD when he was 13. Now, Pam says that after years of failed treatments and medication, that she finds it easier to blame herself for Michael's OCD since doctors haven't given a good answer to how this happened. How do you figure you own this?
Well, I was 7 months pregnant with Mike, and I had a kidney stone, and I ended up in the hospital. And they said, you need to be on morphine. Well, when I'm pregnant with both my kids, I do everything I'm supposed to. But I didn't with him because they told me, you have to be on morphine. And my husband, you know, he was like, it'll be okay. They say it's okay. It's not going to hurt the baby. So now I figured that medicine, it's my fault. You know, it wasn't for my kidney stone and this doctor. You know, maybe this wouldn't have happened to Mike.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if this is good news or bad news for you because I know you try to find a place to put this, but there's just not any scientific connection between the appropriate use of that drug during a pregnancy and OCD. I mean, there's some indication that there could be some genetic component to it in some way. There's some association with those that have had a streptococcus infection, you know, severe strep.
He's never had that.
But, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot known about cause, at least definitively. We were talking before to Jennifer, and one of the things that I said is we do understand that there is a neurological component to this. There are some things going on in the brain that are very different from someone's brain that's not experiencing this. And if that's not addressed, if that's not corrected, the best possible therapies, the things that would otherwise be effective, just won't be. So coming up, we're going to talk about what's really going on inside Michael's brain, inside the brains of people that are experiencing OCD. We've sent Michael to be evaluated before today so we could have a look at his brain to find out if it was different than someone's brain that's not going through this. The results are very, very interesting. We're going to show them to you right after the break.
I reached out when my doctor finally said, I give up. I don't know what to do for you anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're giving up on us? My biggest fear is who's going to take care of Michael?
We're a very small family. If my daughter can't take care of him and he can't take care of himself, where's he going to go? He doesn't belong in a halfway house. He deserves a normal life. I'll take care of him as long as I can.
We don't know what to do. We just need help.
Well, today we're taking a glimpse inside the world of OCD. Now, with regard to Michael, who we've been talking about, we sent Michael to see Dr. Bradley Jabbour, a leading neuroradiologist and CEO and founder of Smart Brain and Health. Now, his research is so on the cutting edge of neurovascular head and neck imaging that I can't even tell you. I have been there. Dr. Jabbour performed a brain scan on Michael to find out what's really going on. So Dr. Jabbour, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank
you. You did some imaging on Michael. Will you take us through that here and show us what we found out?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Thanks, Dr. Phil. As we can see, this is Michael. Pretty good rendering of Michael. We cut into the brain, and we were able to image the structure, the anatomy, the shape of the brain. We're also able to see that Michael has a normal-looking brain.
What we're seeing here, when you say the fiber tracts, this is the wiring inside the brain.
Correct.
This is how different parts of the brain talk to other parts of the brain, which are important in doing complex functions, right?
Yeah, that's right. The brain networks, the networks that connect with each other.
And so these are actually the fibers in Michael's brain.
Correct.
This is an area in the frontal part of the brain. It's a cingulate gyrus, but this is the area in the frontal part of the brain. Now, this is a brain that is not experiencing OCD, and it looks like the area of activity here, the area that's hot, is 300, 400, 500% of what it is in this brain.
Correct.
Okay, so this is going on with an OCD patient. This is going on with someone that is not experiencing OCD. We call it normal, but it just means non-OCD. And there's also some activity back here that is not back here.
Correct.
So what's up with that?
Okay. In Michael's case, and this is not true of all OCD patients, but in Michael's case, this area, which is one of the switching areas that process information, is not behaving correctly. It's not as active as it should be. So his sense of where he is and who he is in space and time sometimes might be affected in a way that's not like the normal population.
Is it possible to get this back to its normal level of activity and to wake up this part of the brain as well? And the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
And you're doing this with... and here's the thing. You have developed technology here that uses the MRI to do neurological navigation, which allows you to pinpoint this precise area of the brain and then essentially bombard it with magnetic impulses that cause the areas to change their activity level. True?
Correct. Yeah.
And without using medication. Because you guys are saying the medication, sometimes the side effects are worse than what they treat, or they make it worse, or they just simply do nothing.
Exactly.
They've always
but
worked
you're
the
able
opposite.
to do this without medication, correct?
Correct.
All right, now, Dr. Jabbour brought along one of his patients, Bob, who was suffering from OCD and had suicidal thoughts for years. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for being here, Bob. So, you've heard us talking with Jennifer and Michael about this OCD. Yours was as severe as we're talking about today, correct?
Certainly. I am bipolar as well, and so the suicide was a major component, but I also had OCD that was interfering with my life as well.
I want to talk about the treatment and what this involves, because, and I think we've got some B-roll of this so we can see it. If we can, I'll kind of talk through it here. But basically, what you do is you use neural navigation to find the specific area, because it's not the same for everybody, correct?
Well, the OCD is more or less in the same part of the frontal lobe, but we've got to find the specific entry point to stimulate the brain.
Right. And then you're basically put in what's called a stereotaxic setup, where your head is positioned so you don't move around. And then you'll see there's this area that goes right above the brain, right above the head right here, is not actually touching, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then impulses are going in, magnetic impulses, right?
Correct.
And the patient will sit there for how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go through a series of these treatments, and you're targeting this brain. So basically, those magnetic impulses are hitting right into the gyrus where this is taking place.
Correct. Before we treated Bob, what his brain looked like, and just like Michael, while he was trapped in those thoughts of depression and suicidal type rituals, his life fell apart, and we could see why he too was suffering. We then treated him, and that whole area returned to normal, and the green represents what the normal population, if you took 90% of the people here, this is what their brain would look like, the green. So we overlaid what the normal population is, and after treatment, he returned to normal.
They saved my life. I was the last train stop, and I had no place to turn to. It was a pure miracle.
Now, Dr. Jabbour and Smart Brain and Health want to give Michael treatment at their facilities here in Los Angeles. So they're offering to do this with you. Now, you have to be here for a period of time to do this because this is day after day after day you have to do this. So we're going to make living arrangements for you while you're here for you and your parents during your stay while we get this done for you. It's non-pharmaceutical. And really, the scientific studies that you've done have had a really high remission rate for patients, true?
72% remission using the neuronavigation technique. So
72% remission.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's just great. We'll be right back. You know, I'd like to thank all of my guests for coming and sharing their stories today. Guys, I know it's easier to stay home and not put your story out there for everyone to see, but it makes a huge, huge difference. And I've always said there's a trade-off. The guests that come here are teaching tools for us. That's what we get out of it. What you get out of it is that we try to bring you the best resources that you could get anywhere in the world to help you turn things around. And I really hope you're going to throw yourself into this. You feel good about this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
You saved my whole entire life, I think.
Well, thank you. And Jennifer, you've had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Lawless, and you guys can chat. And if and when it feels right to you and you want to do it, as I said, Dr. Jabbour has been so kind to say he would be happy to do this with you, and we'll help you make those arrangements. Up to you.
Where do I sign?
And really, a special thanks to Dr. Bradley Jabbour. Brad, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing this. I hope today's show wasn't too technical. We're going to have so much more information about OCD and depression and all of the things that go into living with anxiety on drphil.com. And also, one of the things that's so important for anxiety relief is being able to calm yourself. And so Dr. Lawless has innovated an anxiety relief audio program that is really, really helpful. And so everyone in the audience is going to get a link to get a free download of that. And after talking with Dr. Lawless today, he has allowed us to put it on our website, and every one of you at home are going to get a link for a free download of that program that helps you deal with anxiety in your life. So, Dr. Lawless, that is so generous. Thank you so much for doing that, and we'll be watching you guys and hoping things change. Bob, thanks for sharing your story with us. So long. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Bob, good to see you so much. Thanks, we all.
Today on Dr. Phil.
I think I have a wonderful attitude.
She's smug.
You went in and stole money. Why?
Because I can.
Defiant.
I had to come here. I'm not even supposed to be here.
And disrespectful.
You want to have an intelligent conversation?
What? I'm not paying attention.
Meet Little Miss Attitude.
Yes, I do steal from my mother.
Yes, I did steal from my mother.
But first,
Get the out of my way.
meet another teen with attitude.
Your behavior is atrocious. It needs to change.
But is her mom to blame?
You walked into a dance in front of her peer group. You grabbed her by the hair and you dragged her out of the dance. What the hell are you thinking? Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, three, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. you, thank you. All right, take a look. This is Amanda. She lives on a ranch with 20 horses. Her mom says she was a perfect angel of a child who deserved the best of the best. When she was 8, she got a cell phone and a horse for her birthday. By 9, she had her very own Barbie CD player and flat screen TV. By 10, she had her own laptop and was racking up Girl Scout badges. She was a Girl Scout until she was 11. But just 3 short years later, Mom says she's gone from a dream child to a complete hellion. Now, our cameras were there when Mom Renee told Amanda she could not go to a party. I'll just let you see the reaction.
You get embarrassed about my hair, everything.
Get out of my way.
I'm not in prison, I need help. It's different.
You can help for yourself. Mother was giving you pills. Oh, you know what? You are hurting.
You are 14 years old. Amanda, don't you walk away from me.
I'm not walking away from you. Shut up.
Nobody is allowed to give you medication but me.
You are not my mother.
What are you doing with that knife?
I am taking this off.
Why are you yelling at me? I asked what you were doing with the knife.
Don't panic like that.
You can use scissors.
Get me a pair.
Well, Renee says that her daughter Amanda has punched her at least 50 times in the last year, punched her in the head. She even knocked one of her mother's teeth out.
Don't you dare touch me. My mother is a bitch. Full-blown bitch. Get the out of my way. I can't freaking stand her. I do not want to be near her whatsoever.
Do that.
Shut up. My mother and I get into so many fights, whether it's just arguing, like screaming and yelling, or a fist fight.
Amanda has hit me well over 50 times in the past year.
One time I punched in the face, I felt so much relief, it's not even funny. I got my anger out from the past 2 months. I kept it in way too long.
Give it up on you?
Shut up for a second.
That's why we're here right now.
One time she punched me in my right cheek and my tooth fell out. She started to bite my arms when I had her down on the floor.
I do not respect my mother. She didn't show any respect towards me. Why should I give it to her? I don't like to be touched whatsoever. If you mean to hurt me or my friends, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna give you the same thing. I've only been in about 10 or 11 fights, but my mom only knows about 2 or 3. I do fight with other people.
You drive my ass just so much.
I don't look for fights. No matter where I go, they just find me. This one cheerleader, we got into this huge argument because she was threatening me. So I decided, you just stop talking behind my back. I'm sick and tired of it. That's when she tried to swing at me. She smacked me in the face, and that's when I lost and I punched her in the face. I work out, I lift weights, I run a lot. I do sit-ups and push-ups. I learned how to fight by watching Karate Kid. I fight because if you don't respect me and you swing at me first, or you threaten me, you harm someone I love, I'm gonna hurt you back. You deserve it.
You punch people a lot, right?
Only if they swing at me first.
But
yes, I do.
Are you involved in a lot of physical confrontations?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you're the common denominator among them all, right? I mean, you're there for each of them.
Yes.
You got in a fight with a cheerleader recently, right?
Over the summer.
And this is you. Take a look at this.
Embarrassed about my hair, everything.
Get the away from her, because I get nothing to do.
You give up on me.
It's every day.
Shut up for a second.
You sound in pain. You sound like you're hurting inside.
I'm hurting and I'm extremely pissed off.
Yeah. And those are the same things, because it hurts to be upset, right? It hurts when you're mad. It's not a comfortable feeling.
No, not at all.
When you punch people, why do you punch people?
Because if I feel like they've hurt me in some way, or they've hurt someone I love, they deserve exactly what they did back.
Okay. Does it work?
They leave me alone. So.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still something there, but for the time being, it's gone.
It gives you immediate relief, but it doesn't really fix the problem.
Exactly.
So I made a list. You punched your mother, she says, probably 50 times in the head.
Not 50, not even close to that.
20?
Maybe a little bit lower, not
10?
a little bit over that.
Dozen times you punched her in the head, okay? She says that you have kicked and spit on her.
Yeah, to try to get her off of me.
Okay. You say that you reach a boiling point and then it just all comes out.
Yeah, because I keep so much inside me, like I don't have anything, I can't do anything with it.
And you say you feel relief and regret at the same time.
Yeah.
You say that fights find you.
They always find me.
How does that happen?
There's always a few people that end up pissing me off.
You say you bottle stuff up inside all the time, and so it's like ready to just come boiling out. So I'm wondering if it's kind of a hair trigger with you.
Kind of.
What really gets to you?
People that threaten other people I love if they swing at me or if they hurt me.
Do you love your mother?
I love her, but at the same time, I can't stand her.
You love her, but you don't like her.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you love your brother?
I love him. He's just really annoying.
Did you push him down the stairs?
Okay, no, I did not push him down the stairs.
Why is everybody saying all of this stuff if it's not true?
Because I'm the easiest one to blame, because I'm not a perfect child.
Did you pull a knife on your stepdad?
No, I didn't. At the time, I would cut myself to feel relief, and that's what I was going to go do. But instead, he switched it all up, and he said I pulled a freaking knife on him.
Uh-huh.
When I did not pull it on him.
Do you call your mother names?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she pisses me off too much.
Did you say to your mother, if you ever touch me, I will have someone take care of you?
I did not put it like that, no.
How did you put it?
Well, she tried to hit me, so I said, you ever friggin' touch me, I swear to God, something will happen to you.
Like what?
I didn't mean it like I'm gonna have someone come out and hurt her.
Yeah.
I meant like karma's a bitch. It'll bite you right back in the ass.
Okay. Where did you learn to parent?
My parents. I was a very young parent, as well as they. My mother was an 18-year-old mother.
But did anybody ever teach you what to do? Did anybody say, okay, look, when you've got kids here, there are certain dynamics you got to have, and here's what you need to do? Did anybody ever teach you that?
No.
It's just whatever was modeled for you.
Yes.
And then you've just kind of been making it up as you go along.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't have a clue whether you're doing what is right or not. All you know is it's not working.
Right.
It's not even sort of working.
Exactly.
Not kind of, sort of, maybe working.
Not at all.
In fact, it's getting worse by the minute.
It is getting worse by the minute.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a break. Amanda's stepdad calls her Satan. He says he sleeps in his jeans with his wallet and his keys because he's afraid his daughter's going to take them if he doesn't. So how does mom discipline? What does she know about parenting? And is this all on one side, or is there a lot more going on here? We're going to talk about all of that and more when we come back.
You know what, Amanda? I could have left your mother a long time ago. Many times I did feel like getting divorced because I felt like Amanda's not biologically mine. Why should I deal with it? Amanda's behavior has caused me a lot of stress. Do you know why I didn't leave her? Because I have a little bit of hope left for you.
I know exactly what happened.
Amanda, stop it.
Amanda screams, she throws things, she slams doors, she'll swear.
Get the out of my way.
Amanda told me that I was the worst mother. She told me I was a bitch. She called me
I have called my mother a word.
She's defiant. She's destructive.
Can you please not look at Brianna? Stop. This is her house.
I'm getting scissors!
You're in here.
I like to throw punches. You swing at me, you hit me, I'm gonna punch you back in the face 10 times harder. 99% of the time. I keep everything bottled up for so long that someone breaks me and I just let it all go.
Well, that was Amanda talking about how she releases her pent-up anger. Now, her mother, Renee, says at this point, she said, I've just run out of ways to control my daughter. Have you ever tried to understand her?
I've tried. We've been to many counseling sessions together.
Yeah.
And Amanda doesn't like talking about her feelings whatsoever. Whenever we get too deep with the
I
feelings.
didn't ask you if you talked to her or if you talked to a counselor. I ask you as a mother, have you ever sat down and said, I want, in my mind and my heart, to walk in her shoes? This is your child. This is your daughter. Yes, chime in.
Multiple times I've went to go ask you, can I please talk to you? Whenever you do, someone interrupts and you go along with them, or you go on Facebook, you do something like that, or you don't talk to me afterwards, you ignore me.
I think that that's a technique that Amanda uses. She wants to talk to me at the worst possible times. I want to speak with her one-on-one. I don't want to speak with her, in a
So you
rush.
want to do it on your terms? You want to do it your way, your time, on your schedule?
Life
Look,
don't
I'm
work
just
that
being
way.
honest. How's that working for you? Look, your daughter's spinning out of control. She's raging. She's going to wind up in a whole lot of trouble. And it being inconvenient to talk is going to seem pretty trivial and like a pretty lame excuse at that. I don't know how close you live to the prison, but figure your drive time and see if you can squeeze that out of your time now. Look, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. You guys came here because you want something to change. And if you want something to change, you have to change something. Your behavior is atrocious. It needs to change. This needs to stop. It is not okay. But this is not all about her. One log won't burn. I'm telling you, there's got to be a lot going on here in order for this to keep sparking the way that it does. That's all I'm saying. And I'm curious if you want to know that or if you came here to defend what isn't working.
No, I've tried many resources to help our relationship. It's not completely her, it's me as well. I've tried many, many times to reach out to her. I've tried sitting down with her and talking to her. That didn't work.
Okay, so you're here to defend what isn't working.
Well,
because I'd like to try something new.
absolutely.
But
that's
if
why
you
I'm
want to
here.
defend what isn't working, I'll take the time.
That's
you
why
know, I
I'm
got
here,
nowhere to go.
because I don't know what to do anymore. And nothing is working.
Amanda's stepdad, Mike, is on the phone. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Dr. Phil.
Thanks. You've said some things about Amanda that describe her in less than flattering ways, true?
Yeah, I mean, it's not far from the truth, Dr. Phil. I mean, I try to stay away from it and stay out of it. I mean, I don't get involved too much. To me, she's out of control, and I've never seen anything like it.
How do you feel about Amanda? Do you like her? Do you love her? Do you?
Oh, I love her to death. You know what? Honestly, if she ever left for any reason where she decided to move in with her biological father or whatever, I'd miss her. I'd miss her like hell. She's like a daughter I never had. But I like her. I love her. I just don't like the way that she is.
So is all this turmoil pushing you to the limit?
It's getting me on the edge. I mean, there's been times I thought about leaving my wife. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's been times I thought about it, but honestly, I do love my wife and I do love my stepdaughter, and I'm kind of hanging in for the long run to see hopefully that we can get some help, because I have no idea what to do for her.
How do you feel about Mike? Do you like him? Do you care about him?
I love him, but just like everyone else, he does piss me off sometimes.
All right. Amanda's been handcuffed, jailed, interrogated. She's just 14, just turned 14, actually. We're going to find out what all that was about. We'll be right back.
I hate cops. They're all pigs. They're dirty. I hate them all. I was arrested 6 or 7 times. Cops are the worst people to be around. All they like to do is get you in trouble. People say they like to benefit others, but for me, it's what do I benefit from? Getting threatened by a cop to get pepper sprayed in the eyes? Yeah.
Now, Renee, the mom, believes that Amanda, the daughter's anger may have something to do with the bullying that her daughter suffered earlier in life. Take a look.
I mainly hate school because of the bullying.
Amanda was called a slut. She was called a whore. If you're having issues with bullying again, you need to go talk to your counselor.
I did.
And what did she say?
Nothing worked. Okay?
There were some boys that I believed liked Amanda and wanted her attention, so they made up a rumor that she was giving on the bus after school. I think that the bullying that Amanda endured in school has a lot to do with how she treats us at home. She gets bullied at school. It hurts her feelings.
I'm not in prison. I'm in hell. There's a difference.
The bullying was just the worst possible thing.
The fighting with Amanda started in school around the time that she was being bullied.
You either threaten me or my family. You bully me, I'm gonna turn around and give you exactly what the hell you deserve.
Do you agree that violence isn't a very efficient way to solve problems?
I know it's not.
And I don't mean in theory, I mean in practice for you.
I know it's not.
Yeah. And would you agree that you kind of have a one-size-fits-all response, which is, I'll punch you out, I'll get up in your face, I'll whatever. And would you agree that that one response isn't working?
I know it's wrong, I know it's not working, but there's nothing else for me to do.
You're doing what you know to do.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to just stand there and be a punching bag. You're doing what you know to do. Okay? Have you ever heard me say that the most powerful role model in any child's life is the same-sex parent?
Yes.
Have you grabbed her by the hair
Yes.
and dragged her out of a school dance?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That was a couple of weeks ago. She snuck out of the house. She was punished. She wasn't allowed to go anywhere. She knew she wasn't allowed to go anywhere. So I went down to the school, and the principal found her for me, and I saw her. Her back was to me, and her arms were around her friend. And at this point, I was seeing red. I was so mad at her because she snuck out. She's at the school dance. So the first thing I grabbed was her hair. I pulled her back. Once I had her in arm's length, I grabbed her by the arm, and I pulled her out of the dance by her arm.
Well, that's a minute of my life I can't get back. I just sat there listening to you justify walking in. Look, you need to stop justifying things and then telling me you're not. You do it, and then I label it. Oh, no, I'm not saying it's okay. And that's why I said, you just wasted a minute of my life I can't get back. You just said, well, yes, I did. The principal went and found him. And it all ends the same way. You walked into a dance in front of her peer group, you grabbed her by the hair, and you dragged her out of the dance. What the hell are you thinking? Seriously. Seriously, I'm not excusing her behavior. Did you hear me tell her? Absolutely unacceptable, not okay, unbecoming, unflattering, inefficient, doesn't work, needs to change. I get it. And you say, well, gee, I wonder where this comes from. Why was she raised by her grandmother till she was 7?
Because I worked a lot. I was a young mother. I always worked 2 jobs. So my mother watched her a lot for me. There was even a point where I was going to school all day, working all night. So she was my babysitter.
She's more than your babysitter. She raised your daughter.
She did.
So don't call her a babysitter. She raised your daughter. What, are you kidding me?
She did.
And you may think, boy, this is going badly. I brought her in here to get fixed, and he's kicking my ass. That's not the deal. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Somebody needs to give you a wake-up call. You have this little girl, and she's raised by somebody besides you till she's 7. Then you take her back for a year. And what happened that she went back to grandmother?
I was married previously, and I got a divorce. So we moved back in with my mother. I don't know. I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be. I just don't know what I'm doing. My mother, she helped me out a great deal. She really did. But my mother has a lot of bad things to say about me. We don't have the best relationship. And my mother has no problem saying how she feels about me in front of Amanda. And Amanda will mimic that. My mother doesn't like, what I do or how I dress. Amanda will say that to a T.
You hate on me for the same freaking thing.
I dress appropriately. You dress like
you don't like what no matter
old.
What I wear, you don't like it.
Because it's too revealing. You are 14 years old. Amanda.
Not all of it.
How do you feel about the fact that she didn't raise you till you were 7?
It hurts and it pisses me off because I never had a mother or a father there for me, and it was my grandmother raising me. To the point where I would call my grandmother mom.
How's this going so far for you, just being here today?
Not exactly as I would liked.
Really? What would you have liked?
In a perfect world, I just want you to wave your magic wand and make things better.
Yeah, well, sometimes my magic wand can kind of look like a meat cleaver, I guess, because I got to cut certain things out. I've got to do different stuff. But, let me tell you all some good news here. Okay, some good news. This situation can get a whole lot better really quick. If you're willing to stop this kind of airhead sort of, gee, golly darn, I don't know what's going on. I look at this situation, I don't ask myself why she's behaving the way she is. I ask myself, why not?
I never acted that way before.
You need to take the word but out of your vocabulary. Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And you're a yeah, but.
Amanda has admitted to smoking marijuana, to doing coke behind the school.
I smoked weed for 2 to 3 years, from age 11 to 14.
Amanda steals everything that she can. She's stolen my jewelry, my clothes, my shoes. Amanda's stolen my money.
I stole 1 necklace. I used to steal energy drinks, cigarettes, weed. money. First time I got arrested, I ran away for a few hours. They had a helicopter, they had search dogs, and they had 3 or 4 different police stations looking for me.
Until she's 7, you don't raise her. And you tell me, well, my mother helped out a lot. She was a babysitter. No, she wasn't a babysitter. She raised your daughter. She was a managing conservator of your daughter. You just didn't fill out the paperwork. She raised your daughter. Then you go get her for a year, then you take her back. Now, what does a kid say to themselves about that? You say, well, I was very young and I had to work and then I was going to school and I... So you had a priority list and she wasn't on it. And then you start having relationships and she's watching these people be physically violent with you, right?
Yes.
Then they turn and hit her. And do you have any idea what kind of rage festers up inside when somebody is hurting you and you have no ability to make them stop? Do you know what happens to that? It just builds up and builds up and builds up inside until you finally get big enough, you finally get strong enough, you finally get developed enough where you say, the next sumbitch touch me is going to get knocked smooth out.
Thank you.
Okay? How am I doing?
So far, you're doing good. That's exactly.
Do I understand?
He understands.
I've never looked at it that way. I don't know why I didn't recognize that, and I should have. I guess I'm just spread really thin.
It's not me you need to be talking to, it's her. What do you have to say to her?
I love you very much, Amanda. I really do. I wish I could have helped you out a long time ago. But the road that you're on right now, it's not working for any of us.
You know all the I've been through, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Exactly.
and I will do anything to make this better. Absolutely anything.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about you like you're not here. Okay. You know how I feel about your behavior.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm becoming. If 2 things happened, your whole life would change. Number 1, you really need some very specialized help to heal the hurt that's inside you, not with her. Forget about that for a minute. You deserve to be ministered to. You deserve for someone to help you make sense of all this and sort it out. And then secondly, you're doing what you're doing because you don't know what else to do, but there are some options. And Mom doesn't know how to teach you those things because it's kind of similar with you. I mean, you went into a dance and drug your daughter out by the hair and then followed her in the room, slapped her in the face because you had had it up to here.
Yes.
Okay? And then you go, I don't know why she acts the way she does.
But I never acted that way before.
You need to take the word but out of your vocabulary. You know, the bane of every psychologist in the world is what we call the yeah, but patient. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, tell you what, we got the test back, and here are the results. You're not going to die. Yeah, but living's a bitch. It's just yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And you're a yeah, but. Everything I've said has been responded, yeah, but I was going to school. Yeah, but I was, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
About you? I'm going to give you some options and let you choose what you want to do. Because you know what I think? I think you're going to choose a route to being happy and peaceful. Because I think that would be really great. True?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when I come back, I'll talk to a mother who says her 16-year-old daughter is so out of control that she had to send her youngest daughter to live with friends just to keep her safe. You're going to meet Little Miss Attitude when we come back.
Sabby has hit her grandmother.
I did not get into a fight with my grandmother.
Sabby has threatened to kill her little sister.
No, I did not threaten to kill my sister.
It's like she's the exorcist.
I don't care what other people think about me. I think I have a wonderful attitude.
heard of Little Miss Sunshine? Well, my next guest is Little Miss Attitude. She was kicked out of boot camp just last week. She knocked her grandma down and is threatened to kill her sister.
Sabby. My name is Courtney. I work as a police officer. Sab! The trouble with Sabby began back when she was 13.
Oh, I don't feel good.
Sabby's told me she wishes I was dead. I wasn't her mother. I wasn't in her life anymore. When Sabby acts like that, she acts evil, she acts possessed, yelling, cursing, using the word at me. It's like she's the exorcist.
I can't remember what I've called my mother.
You're nothing but a bitch.
She is one. A female dog.
Sabby has hit her grandmother.
I did not get into a fight with my grandmother.
My mom's elbow and right arm had hit the door, made a nice huge bruise on her right forearm.
No, I did not.
Sabby has threatened to kill her little sister.
No, I did not threaten to kill my sister.
Sabby has punched her sister.
No.
Sabby has made her little sister cry. Sabby did steal money. She stole $280.
Yes, I do steal from my mother.
I feel helpless and I feel mad and angry all together and I feel very frustrated.
I don't care what other people think about me. I think I have a wonderful attitude.
Well, when we tried to interview Sabby, my team, well, they had their hands full. Even pleas from her mother off camera to the side, totally ignored. Take a look.
The bobby pin doesn't need to go in my hair. My hair is out of my eyes, ain't it?
Well, keep it out of your eyes.
That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm sitting up like this.
Well, quit acting like that.
God. Stop messing with my hair.
I'm making sure it doesn't go in your eyes.
It won't.
Now you got your shirt all screwed up. Now you're trying my patience. I'm running out of them, and you're being very ugly and immature about this, and I'm losing my patience. Sit up straight, please.
I don't sit up like that. I'm not a proper little stupid person, okay?
There you go, just like that. For 10 minutes, tops.
Okay, well, hurry up.
Can you say your name for me?
No.
You can't say that for me?
No, because that's weird.
Sabby. Okay, really?
It's weird. I don't say that.
What do you say? Your name is Sabby?
I don't say that.
What do you say?
I don't
When you
say
meet
it.
somebody, what do you say?
They already know my name when I meet them.
What got you kicked out of boot camp?
I don't know.
Did you threaten to kill your sister?
No.
No what?
No.
No what?
No.
No what?
There's nothing after no.
Are you uncomfortable with all the lights? Would you feel more comfortable if we did this outside?
No.
You're not going to answer any of my questions, are you?
I don't know. I don't know the
questions.
I don't know. I don't know the questions.
What do you know, Sabby? What do you know?
That I want to go to sleep.
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
I mean, why are you behaving that way?
Because I want to.
Yeah, and that gets you what? Attention, control? What's the deal?
It doesn't give me anything. I mean, I don't know.
I agree. How you feel about being here?
I want to go home.
Yeah. What would you do when you got home? Same thing you did before you left?
I would go to sleep.
Yeah. Why did you want to be here with your daughter?
I'm completely lost as what else to do.
Uh-huh. Are you behaving badly?
Do you want my opinion?
Yeah. That's why I ask you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
What do you do for a living?
I work in law enforcement.
You're a cop?
Yes.
Yeah. Who do you work with?
I work with juveniles.
You work with juveniles?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So this isn't the first defiant,
Absolutely
rebellious,
not. No,
smart
I deal with it
teenager
every
you've been
day.
around. Yeah.
It just hurts that it's your own daughter.
Of course. Did you tell doctors at the ER that you wanted to kill your mother?
No.
Did you tell you wanted
She's
to kill you?
lying.
Pardon me?
She's lying.
Yeah. You
That's why
didn't
they
tell
kept her in
doctors
there.
that? What did you tell them?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Is Is that your pat answer? Just, I don't know?
Unless she wants something.
You think that gets you out of the moment? Because listen, we can do this easy or we can do it hard. Doesn't matter to me. So do you want to have an intelligent conversation or not?
I guess.
Okay, did you tell the doctors at the ER, which put it in a certified medical record, that you want to kill your mother?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Would you actually aggress against your mother?
No.
You don't really want to hurt her?
No.
Do you love your mom?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you love about her?
Everything.
For example, give me some examples.
I don't know. I don't give examples of why I love a person.
Yeah. Well, you do now, because I asked you. What do you hope happens going forward between you and your mom?
What do you mean?
What would you like to see your relationship change to?
I don't... a better one, I guess.
When we come back, we're going to find out how Sabby landed herself in juvie and what, if anything, can be done to improve this situation. We'll be right back.
I looked in my bank account and it showed that it had been missing $280. She told me no, she didn't do it. Being in law enforcement, something just told me, my little spidey senses, something told me she stole good.
Yes, I do steal from my mother.
Punishment does not work on Sabby. She does not care. I've told her she can't go anywhere, she can't do anything, she can't talk on the phone, no Facebook, no computer, no hanging out. I actually took her phone and threw it down the road and smashed it all to pieces. The way that Sabby responded to the punishment from the credit card is she didn't care. Nothing phases her.
Well, that was Courtney talking about how hard it is to discipline her daughter. Now, Courtney says her daughter's stolen close to $1,000 from her. She finally had to call the cops on Sabby last time and send her to juvie. Take a look.
Sabby was in juvenile detention because she took my credit card while I was asleep. Went to go look for and pay for something, and it was gone. I looked in my bank account and it showed that it had been missing $280. Come to find out, it was my daughter, but she told me no, she didn't do it because I did question Sabby about her taking the money. And she said, no, Mama, I wouldn't do it. Being in law enforcement, something just told me, my little spidey senses, something told me she stole good. I confronted her and Sabby didn't even care. She's like, whatever.
Yes, I do steal from my mother.
I confronted her, and it was not a knockdown, drag-out fight, but a hollering match. And it was like Sabby didn't even care. She's like, whatever.
That little bite we just had, yes, I did steal from my mother. Why is that okay?
It's not okay.
But you gave yourself permission to do it. Why do you give yourself permission to steal money?
I don't give myself permission to do anything.
No, but you do. Who else gave you permission to do it?
No one.
And you're in charge of you, right? That's what you're telling us.
Yeah.
You say, don't tell me what to do. I'm in charge of me, right? That's your attitude? Okay, so you're in charge of you and you stole money. Yeah. So you gave yourself permission to steal money, right?
Sure.
Okay. You went in and stole money, which means you are willing to accept that behavior from yourself. I'm just curious as to why.
I don't know.
Because I would think you'd have more pride in yourself than that.
Because I can't.
Because you can? Okay, that's what I wanted to know. You just made this real easy for me. Okay. Okay? And what she's telling you here is, I don't know. I just do what I can do. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. And I get a bunch of I don't knows, which tells me that the best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. She doesn't have the motivation, willingness, or ability to do better in a free operant situation, which means she needs to be out of it. She needs to be out of it. She needs to be in a highly structured environment somewhere. Well, that's why I put her in boot camp. Well, let me tell you, my places they're not so easy to alienate. The resources that I use, they don't care what she says to them. They're unwilling to be intimidated by a teenager. And if she is unwilling to even cooperate or participate with you, then that means you're in over your head, and you need to put her in a structured environment where she's safe from herself. Would you agree?
You want my opinion?
Yeah.
No.
What do you disagree with?
I disagree with everything you just said.
Yeah? Tell me why.
Because I didn't choose to be here. Okay? I had to come here. I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm on probation right now and on house arrest. I'm not supposed to be here.
And your point?
And my point is, I'm not supposed to be here. I don't want to be here.
Well, if Mom gets permission, special permission without you knowing, because you don't always know
It doesn't
everything.
matter. You're not supposed to talk to anybody that I talk to. Okay?
This is it. This is Sabrielle right here,
Yeah.
and it just gets so frustrating.
So what do you want?
What do I want? What? When? What? I'm not even paying attention.
Pardon me?
I'm not paying attention.
Okay. All right. That's an answer in all caps. Yeah, there's a group that we work with that's called the Aspen Education Group that's provided treatment experiences for a number of our young guests for whom their results have been phenomenal. They've got a place called Turnabout Ranch that will really help her learn responsibility, accountability, respect, and they use a really supportive environment, not a military environment, and I think it's a great opportunity for her. I will extend that resource to you as a gift from us to you, which is really a gift from us to her, if that's what you would like to do. If that's what you would like to do. But my prediction is if you take her home, you're going to get more of the same.
It's going to be worse,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be worse. So what do you want to do?
I'm definitely game for it, because Mama doesn't know what else to do.
Okay. All right. All right, we're done here. We'll be right back. Special thanks to the Aspen Education Group and to all of my guests. And we'll have a link to Aspen on our website. And I have no affiliation with them other than they're one of our resources, but I think they do a really nice job. To get some more resources, you can go to drphil.com. You can submit your story to us. You can tell us what you think about what happened here today. We'll see you next time. So long. The reason that I had everything here today about Turnabout Ranch is that I wanted to offer you the opportunity to go do that if you want to.
Would I be able to go after this?
Sure. I mean, you can go there from here
Will I be able to ride there?
till you flat fall off. I mean, this is a working horse ranch. I just think you deserve it, and it's just a gift I wanted to offer you.
Thank you.
I don't want anybody's help from people I don't know.
Well, something's going on for you to act like this.
Nothing's going on. I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. All these rich people are annoying the crap out of me.
It's time to get moving towards the program, Turnabout Ranch.
I can't go.
You don't have to yell.
No, I'm yelling because I'm pissed the hell off.
You're showing your true colors.
Yeah, I am because it's stupid. I want to go home. I don't belong in some stupid place like that.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime.
Everything's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
No.
To you.
Yeah, I see you're trying.
Today on Dr. Phil. After a night with two sexy strangers,
They said, do a shot with us. I said, okay.
this weatherman woke up with a real-life hangover.
They ran up $43,000 on your credit card.
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
The weatherman's memory is partly cloudy.
Plus,
His comments started having sexual overtones.
another weatherman, another scandal.
Some of the chats got very racy. I kept looking over my shoulder like, should I be reading this? Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Imagine this, a top TV weatherman in Philadelphia goes away for a weekend in Miami. He meets two beautiful young Russian women at a bar. They share a few laughs and a few drinks. But then the next day, he wakes up with wine stains on his shirt, a raging headache, and a mysterious painting next to his bed. And the weatherman's memory, partly cloudy, with 99% fog. Sounds like a scene from a movie, right? It's been dubbed the real-life hangover. Let's hear how a relaxing weekend away turned into what was really a nightmare.
I was on vacation in Miami. I was at a restaurant, and in my view, two ladies were taking pictures of one another. The women were sophisticated, dressed very elegant. I thought they were tourists. I walked up to the bar, and these girls followed me and sat behind me. So that's how the conversation started. We had a glass of wine. A little while after that, they said, do a shot with us. And I said, no, thanks. I don't do shots. One comes behind me, starts rubbing my shoulders, just pulls back my head and says, just one, please. And I said, okay, I'll do the shot. No real alarm bells. It's a night in Miami. I was having a nice time. The girls were playful. Nothing at the time was going through my mind. The two girls' friends said their friend was having a Haitian relief auction. Let's go stop by the auction and look at the paintings. We pull up to this place. I get out of the cab, and the next thing I know, I'm signing something inside a dark room. It seemed like 2 or 3 times. And after that, I went blank. I woke up to the girls waking me up. And there's this painting. It was very foggy. There were flashes, I remember. The painting going into the cab, walking into the hotel lobby. In the hotel room, the girls opened up the mini bar and they started dancing. I remember vaguely dancing a little bit, and that's it. But I wake up in the morning, fully clothed in my bed with a red wine stain on my shirt, and there's a painting right beside my bed. I didn't know what happened. I didn't recognize the painting. I could not find any receipt. My sunglasses were missing. The girls were up to something. I've been taken.
Okay, so wine stain, mysterious painting sitting there in the room, groggy, and a little suspicious. So what does he do? Well, he agrees to meet with the women again. Take a look.
The girls left a message on my hotel phone saying, hope you like the painting, and we accidentally took your sunglasses, and they left their number. I did call them back. I was not suspicious at that time, because what criminal is going to call you? They agreed to pick up the painting, so I felt good about that. Later that evening, I went over to the restaurant, pool bar. They were there, sitting at the table. They said, let's finish our wine together. The one girl goes, we have to go back to where you got the painting. I said, great. The next thing I remember is pulling up in a cab in front of this so-called caviar bar. Walked in. Next thing I remember, getting slapped and woken up. I was out cold in a black room. I don't remember leaving the bar. I don't remember taking a cab back to the hotel. The only thing I do remember is waking up the next morning with the painting gone. Physically, I did not feel well. I had a headache and my stomach felt queasy. I was in a fog trying to put together that second night and what happened, but I still had no real alarm bells because the painting was gone. I figured the painting was returned since it was no longer in my room. My first alarm bell went off when I got a call from American Express. They said, there's a bill here. It's $43,712 in charges. I was stunned. When I went through the American Express receipts, every 6-7 minutes, $2,000, $3,000 bill for a bottle of wine, champagne, $4,000. Every 10 to 15 minutes, a $400 tip, a $600 tip, an $800 tip. This went on, and I had a real sick feeling. I was drugged. There's no question in my mind.
You're in Miami to begin with, just on a break, a holiday, right?
Well, my friend and I normally get away in March. We always do our 4-day weekend in Miami. We play golf, and we watch the NCAA tournaments around that same time.
Right.
He was called away on the last minute. I wound up just going down on my own. I just see these two women kind of just taking pictures of one another. I don't think anything of it. I'm having my dinner, and then once I completed dinner, they followed me to that bar.
So you're a single guy.
Right.
And you're by yourself.
Correct.
And so you have dinner, then you go over to the bar to have a drink, and then these girls start talking to you.
They asked me, "Oh, you're a weather presenter?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, do you know where we're from?" And I said, "No." They said, "Can you guess?" I said, "Poland?" They said, "No, Estonia." And then they started just having a conversation about Estonia, about the weather.
Then eventually they get you to leave the bar.
Yep.
Okay, and that's when you went to this auction.
And they said, "Do you mind if we stop by my friend's place? He's having an auction for the Haitian Relief Fund." Now, January 10th, there was the big Haiti earthquake.
Right.
So I said, "All right, we'll stop in, and they're having an auction for
Is this your theory there was something in that shot?
Yes.
So that very first drink, you think, was spiked with something?
Dr. Phil, I can't tell you for sure. I just know once I got into the cab and went to the auction, the only thing I truly remember after that is someone holding me up, signing something, and then being woken up, and going into a cab with a painting going into the trunk, and the girls putting me in the cab, and the girls coming along in the cab with me going back to my hotel restaurant.
Okay, so you don't remember getting into your room?
Flashes. I remember in my room, the girls opened up the mini bar, and they were dancing and drinking red wine. And they asked me to try to dance with them, and then I just passed out.
That's the last thing you remember?
Woke up in the morning with red wine on my shirt.
And a painting.
And a painting sitting there right next to my bed. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
And so when you get a call from him, you had to have some suspicions at this point, right?
I did.
But when the phone rings, did that put your mind at ease?
Put my mind at ease.
Because you said criminals wouldn't call you back.
Right.
Because they'd be gone. They're in the wind, right?
Yeah, they would. If you were getting ripped off, no one's going to call you and say they accidentally took your sunglasses and do you like the painting? And that was the message they left on my voicemail at the hotel.
So you meet them again at the pool bar.
I see them. They waved me over. They said, "We have your sunglasses." I said, "Great." I said, "You're going to get the painting?" They said, "Yeah, we'll go back to the hotel and pick up your painting. First, finish a glass of wine with us." I said, "Fine, we'll have a glass of wine, and we'll go back and get the painting." But they said, "We need to stop by the place where you got the painting because I left my purse there." When I walked, the girls got into the bar. I sat in the cab. They told me to come in 1 minute. I said, "No, you come out." They said, "Get in the cab." Went in. As soon as I went inside that restaurant, they handed over the purse to the girl. Lights went out. Next thing I know, I woke up to them slapping me in the face, asking if I'm okay.
Now, John's fiance recently made her own headlines. We're going to find out what that was all about when we come back.
I start tweeting very innocently. Immediately, I get responses. People started to ask for pictures.
It created a little bit of a Erica firestorm because it was on my account.
I thought it was going to be harmless until 2 days later.
I've been drugged, duped. These women used my credit card without my authorization. Charged $43,000. I was beyond furious. So I decided to reach out to the police department in Miami. The police turned the case over to the FBI. The feds set up a sting operation. They found a well-orchestrated crime ring going through Miami, bringing victims to front bars. There were 88 other victims. I wound up testifying in front of a grand jury. 17 out of the 18 crying members of this ring were put behind bars. In my wildest dreams, I never thought I'd ever become a victim of a scam like this.
Okay, the meteorologist's nightmare did not end there. Now, he says not only did he become a mark for an alleged crime ring, he paid a bigger price with his career. Take a look at this.
I was deeply concerned the nature of the crime could impact my job. When I went to Human Resources, they said, well, that's on you, not on us. I was not supposed to speak to the press. However, I'm at a charity event when the editor of the Daily News said, we're running with this story about you in Miami. Were they, what, Russian hookers? I go, what? Step back. That's not what happened. I felt I had no choice. I tried to set the record straight. Well, the article that came out, it made me look like an idiot. It was embarrassing. I was on the cover of the Daily News in a Hawaiian shirt, Miami picture behind me with women. John Belarus Lives, the real Hangover movie. I was upset.
I felt horrible that they would smear his name over something where he was a victim of a crime. It was hard for him to deal with.
I did an interview with Playboy in May 2011. I was given permission by Human Resources through my attorneys, but then I gave an off-the-record interview to help clarify and give a sense of who I was. When the Playboy article came out, December 23rd, the hammer came down.
The article was full of embellishments, lies, to a point to make him look like a cartoon character.
I was suspended 10 minutes before I went on the air.
John took this very hard. Christmas Day, John was having chest pains, shortness of breath. I was looking at his face, he was very white.
Well, I thought I was having a heart attack.
I rushed him to the hospital.
But they said you just had no sleep, you're dehydrated, and you're beat up. Never imagined an innocent night at the bar would cost me my dignity, losing tens of thousands of dollars, my credibility, my livelihood, and throw my life into the abyss.
Well, John's fiance, Erica, is joining us. Thanks for being here. You were the victim of a very sophisticated crime ring.
Yes.
And in fact, there have been a number of arrests.
88 of them.
88 arrests.
88 victims.
88 victims.
18 people.
How many have been arrested?
18.
And you've testified before the grand jury.
My grand jury.
It's still ongoing. This is going to unravel for quite some time. So I don't think anybody could disagree that you've been a victim of a crime here. How does the victim get fired?
I made a mistake talking to Playboy. They felt, and it was an embarrassing article. I thought talking to Playboy, I was doing the right thing. I'm fighting back about a crime that has been committed, not only to me, but to many others.
We reached out to Playboy magazine for a statement, and this is what their publicity director, Terry Thomerson, says. The story published in Playboy magazine speaks for itself. So that's their statement. So you lost your job.
Phil, I lost the best job in the world. My livelihood. 18 straight years of never missing a storm. 18 straight years as a chief meteorologist between two stations. I lost my job. I lost my credibility. I've lost my home. My home now is in contract. I have my little girl that I need to take care of. So I've lost my sense of credibility of who I am. I've been humiliated, and I'm trying to just get back and get my livelihood back and get back to having my life again and being a professional.
You weren't in Miami running a bunch of Russian hookers.
No.
You were in Miami, which you typically, you do on an annual trip. You got targeted down there in a scam. They ran up $43,000 on your Amex after drugging you, and these things were hitting your Amex like every, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 50 minutes, 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000.
4,000, 800, 900. I mean, just bang, 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 bang.
Right.
They were just running this through with tips and charges for exotic wines and all kinds of stuff, which obviously was bogus.
Right. I feel like I've been violated. I'm not rolling over. I'm not going to be a faceless victim. I'm fighting back. I was a victim of a crime, and I wasn't going to take it.
Well, John's fiancée, Erica, recently made her own headlines after sending out some racy tweets on John's Twitter account.
A couple of days ago, I decided to hop on John's Twitter account just to have a little fun. John talks to thousands of people, so I asked him, can I use your account?
I said, yeah, go on Twitter, watch yourself, but have your fun.
So I start tweeting very innocently. I said, this is Erica, I'm using John's account. And immediately I get responses. People started to ask for pictures.
She posted some bikini pictures. There's no secret she was at one time a Playboy model. Erica did promise she was going to send a naked photo, which she never did. She was teasing them. It created a little bit of a Erica firestorm because it was on my account.
I thought it was going to be harmless until 2 days later when John called me and said, are you in the newspaper today? I said, not that I know of. I read the article and was in absolute disbelief. They did post naked pictures of me from over a decade ago, implying that I had posted them that night. Not at all true.
Philly.com accidentally put out a naked photo that ran for 3 hours that was not part of the Twitter. That's what went viral. It blew up.
I immediately apologized to John about it. I would never want to cause John any more harm or stress, especially with the media.
I always say watch the social media. It can hurt you. Twitter could be very dangerous.
Given everything that's going on, take me through the thought process of doing these Twitters at this point.
Well, I didn't think anything of it. I was just playing around on his account and saying, having fun, talking to people. I really felt like it was harmless.
All right, next, we're going to let John respond to another headline that came out just weeks ago that had him so rattled, he just almost couldn't testify. We'll be right back.
I've been a television meteorologist for the past 18 years, both here in Philly and in New York. And I have never been out of work. This is all I've done all my life. The biggest impact what has happened is that my reputation has been most likely tarnished beyond fixing. I'm considered the horny weatherman, the Playboy weatherman, and that's all you ever hear. Nothing about being a meteorologist, just a cartoon character. Just deeply humiliating. I'm still at a loss for where I'm going at this time. I would love to have my name and reputation back.
Well, today I'm talking to John, who says he was portrayed as a joke in the news after he became a victim of an alleged Eastern European crime ring. Now, this recent headline caused him even more humiliation when one of the Russian women testified that he, well, let's just say that he made a little mess. And this just became a personal attack on you.
Just before I'm getting out there to testify, I had a voicemail from this particular reporter saying, you have 30 minutes to respond that you defecated in your pants, and I'm going to run with it. You have 30 minutes to respond. And I can't respond. He ran with it, and that was the headline he ran with, that John Bolaris blanked himself. FBI reports John Bolaris. And he used not defecated, he used...
Yeah.
And I was so taken back and so upset for this person to run with a story like that. It's not true. I would say it in the court under oath. If it happened, it happened. It didn't happen. I thought I would never get a job in television again because my name is just going to be associated with pants.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to do this story because I wanted two things. I wanted people to have an opportunity to get to sit with you, listen to you, hear who you are and what you had to say, and give you an opportunity to set the record straight on this stuff. Because I think you have got an incredibly raw deal in the media. I think you've got an incredibly raw deal in your career. And I wanted you to have an opportunity to tell your story. And I hope you feel like you've done that.
Thank you. I mean, I can't even tell you how much you speaking the truth or putting it out there in a human terms of what really, that I'm able to speak to you and tell really what has gone on for over a year. When you lose your house, you're worried about your daughter, you're worried about working again, and you get this, you don't feel even good about yourself walking in your own city because people are probably laughing at you, or you don't feel you can go to a corporate meeting or meet with a news director or a general manager saying, I want to work again, but we're not, this guy is a circus. I wanted to clear the record, or at least have someone that's going to be just a real person and tell a real story. So I came on with no one. They all say, don't go on. Don't go on. Don't talk to anyone anymore. Don't trust anyone. I said, you know what? Watch the show. I know of you. I said, hey, this guy's going to be honest. If something's wrong, he's going to say, Belaris, you screwed up. Or Belaris, he's going to give me the fair deal.
I know you are a good father,
Thanks.
and I certainly hope somebody steps up and gives you a chance to get back in the arena.
I appreciate that.
All right,
thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next, a different weatherman, a different scandal. This time you're going to meet the woman involved. We'll be right back.
His comments started having sexual overtones. It became a game to me, and I just wanted to see how far he would go. My conversations with Jeff online went viral. He was saying it was going to ruin his life, his marriage is in jeopardy, and I was like, what about me?
My next guest says her late-night sexually explicit chats with a married weatherman went viral and made headlines, ruining her reputation and branding her a homewrecker and a tramp.
I got involved in a racy online relationship, and it went viral. I met Jeff Fox on Facebook. I didn't know anything about him. I'm a photographer. I have my own website. My interactions with Jeff generally revolved around my photographs that I posted on Facebook. He would say, you should have used different lighting, things like that. It was never any in-depth conversation. It was just comments. I liked his input because he was a photographer himself. On one night, the conversations got strange. I changed my profile picture to one that resembled Janet Jackson's album cover, where her boyfriend was holding her breast. I put it up, and then I was like, no, that's not good, and then I took it off. When Jeff saw this picture, he commented on it. He was like, you should have left it there. His comments started having sexual overtones. But I did too. It became a game to me, and I just wanted to see how far he would go. Several weeks after that, my conversations with Jeff online went viral. Jeff instant messaged me in a panic. He said that he was asked not to come back to work that day. He thought he was going to be fired. He was saying it was going to ruin his life, his marriage is in jeopardy. And I was like, what about me? I found out my boyfriend had created a website exposing the conversations that I had with Jeff. I was shocked. I think people see me as a homewrecker. That's what happened. I wrecked the home, and I can admit that.
How did you and this weatherman get to going back and forth? How did you find each other on the internet?
I believe that he just I added him to my Facebook friends, and that's how, I met him.
So he just found you on the internet?
Somehow, yes.
Just out of the blue?
I think so.
So were you all in the same city?
No. No, he lives in Connecticut. I found out after the story broke, and then...
Okay, and so how did these go viral? How did...
Well, we had the Facebook chat, and my ex-boyfriend took screenshots of the chat, and he created a website and put it online.
So he just took a physical picture of it.
Well, he took screenshots.
And made another website and put it up there.
Yes.
Okay, and you said that these chats got really seedy and sleazy and provocative and all. So why did you keep doing it?
I kept doing it because I wanted to see how far he would go. It was just a curiosity thing. It became a game. I just wanted to see how far he would go, basically.
Yeah.
And he went.
Well, and you did too.
I did. No, I'm not.
Because I read a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not
and I
discounting that I did do it.
I felt guilty reading it. I kept looking over my shoulder like, should I be reading this? Some of the chats between Zoelle and the weatherman were too explicit for us to have on the show. So let's take a look at some of the less racy sexting. Jeff, I want to be your fantasy. Zoel, are you sure? Jeff, I want to make you purr. Zoel, I like that. Jeff, well, not tonight, but we can do video sometime. Zoel, no. Jeff, are you a naughty girl? Zoel, I am. And I said these are less naughty. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, these are about a 0.3.
Yes.
Because it got very explicit and very racy. And that went beyond intrigue. You didn't know he was like a weatherman?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't know if he was married or single or old or young?
I never met him. I
happy
never
or
seen
sad
him.
or-
I never talked to him on the phone. Nothing. I didn't know anything about him.
You at all concerned that your name, which is not a common name,
Right.
was out there on the internet forever with all of this content?
Well, I thought it was a secret. I didn't think it was going to get beyond, you know, our personal accounts, but it did.
All right, next, we're going to meet Zoel's daughter, and we're going to find out why she thinks Zoel is keeping even more secrets from her. We'll be right back.
I found out about the internet scandal by surfing the web.
I disappointed her, just being involved in something like this.
It shocked me.
Zoel and her daughter Kayla just reunited after 19 years. Now hear this, after 19 years, they've reunited. Now their relationship is being torn apart again because Zoel's scandalous late night chats with a married weatherman have upset her daughter greatly. Take a look.
Growing up, my mom was not a part of my life.
Kayla's father and I were in an abusive relationship in which I was the abuser. When we split, he got custody.
I really didn't think of my mother that much. I was very angry. Why should I care about her? I didn't realize how much I wanted a relationship until I actually met her.
I reunited with Kayla a day after her 21st birthday.
The first couple of days, it was pretty awesome to finally meet her.
It was important for me to establish a relationship with her because I missed so much out of her life.
All the anger, all the hate, it was gone. She was very easy to talk to. It was just like all that time was never lost.
I was happy that I was building this relationship with my daughter. It was like a void was filled now.
I found out about the internet scandal by surfing the web. I stumbled upon headlines about her and a weatherman, and it shocked me. I haven't known her that long, but I would never think she would do anything like that.
Kayla stopped communicating with me after she found out about the scandal.
It broke the trust that I started to build with her.
I disappointed her, just being involved in something like this.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and you say you just happened onto this. You didn't know that this had gone viral and that your mother was involved in a real widespread scandal about this sexting thing with a married man.
No, I didn't. I found out because she has a photography website, and you know, you go on Google, you search a name, her website will pop up. So I was on Google, you know, searching, and I saw headlines about her and this weatherman. So I clicked on it. I was disgusted.
So you just reunited after 19 years. How did you come back together? How did you find each other?
I saw her father in the store, and, you know, I gave him my number, and he called me, and, you know, he told me that, you know, a lot of years passed. He was like, well, are you ready to see your daughter? And I was like, yes. And so I think it was the day after her 21st birthday. So he picked me up, and he told me that, you know, just what we're going to do is we're going to tell Kayla that you're one of my girlfriends. And so we went to Kayla's house where she was living at the time with a friend of hers. And she came outside, and her dad gets out of the car, myself and her dad, and he goes, this is my girlfriend. And Kayla looked at me like, whatever.
So she got out the car, and, you know, I extended my hand. I was like,
you know, hi,
She
I'm
was nice.
Kayla. And she was like, I'm your mother. And no lie, this was my reaction. Oh, like that's all I could say. And, you know, we hugged and I'm sorry. We hugged and she apologized. And all I kept saying was, it's okay. You know, it's okay. And I just continued to say it over and over again. And, you know, we all went out to dinner afterwards to, you know, try to do, you know, some catching up. And it was a pretty good evening,
So I just wonder who thinks for people sometimes. So y'all decide we're going to tell her a lie. We're going to tell her you're a girlfriend. So that way, when the truth comes out, she can feel betrayed. But you decide that's not going to work, so you tell her the truth right away. Okay, good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Okay, what do you want from your mother? When you've been back together for like 2 months, did you want her to tell you about this when she met you? Hey, listen, you need to know I'm kind of caught up in something right now? You would have wanted to know that from her?
I wouldn't say immediately, you know, right after we met.
Are you bothered by the fact of what she did, or are you bothered by the fact that she hid it from you?
She hid it from me. I'm bothered by the fact that she hid it from me.
Because
I'm trying to build a relationship, try to build trust. So how am I supposed to trust someone that hid something from me?
So now you've got a confidence crisis here. You're saying, what else is she hiding from you?
Exactly.
And if there's other things you want to know.
I do.
And if there are other things, then what's your position on that? Where do you come down on that?
I'll accept it as long as I know. I don't care what she's done in the past, because this is the person that she is now. And this is the person I want to get to know.
All right, we're going to take a break. And if you have something to share with her, then you can. If you don't, you don't. But at least we'll put it on the table. We'll be right back.
My relationship with my daughter is strained right now because my racy online relationship with a popular weatherman went viral.
Surfing the web, I stumbled upon headlines about her and a weatherman. I'm extremely angry for my mom not telling me about the internet scandal. I definitely think my mom is hiding other things from me.
Kayla's relationship with her mom was damaged because she discovered that her mom was keeping secrets. Now, Kayla says she is uncertain if she needs her mom in her life, if she can't trust her. Now, they have been separated for 19 years. 2 months ago, they were reunited, but you soon found out that she had not disclosed to you that she was involved in a scandal that had gone viral that involved her sexting with a married man.
But can I say something? I believe that if I'm honest with her, she would come around, because up until this point, she's been, we've been very close in spite of the separation. And I think that, yeah, I just need to come forward with some things.
She thinks you're keeping secrets from her, are you?
I have a very, yeah. She doesn't know everything.
What does she not know?
Well, she just doesn't know everything about my past. But I do want to tell her, but, you know, it's just, I need help and how to do it. I wanted to explain things to her, but I really don't know how to do it without it sounding like I'm making an excuse. I don't want to make excuses. I could have done things differently, but I didn't really understand.
You made bad choices.
I did. So how do I get her to understand without excusing my actions?
Well, you know, you tell her the truth. I mean, you've made bad choices. You tell her when they were. You tell her what they were. You tell her the truth. Look, here's who I am. Here's where I've been. This is what you get. And I did what I knew how to do at the time, and when I knew better, I did better, and I'm trying to do better now. I mean, you know, that's what you have to do. You just have to be honest about it. Because let me tell you, in this day and time, there is not one thing about you that she can't find out.
That's true, you're right.
You know it, and if you share it with her, then she's going to have gotten the truth from you. And if she finds it out otherwise, then you are going to have lied by omission.
Right.
And it's going to make a huge difference to you, whether she hears it from you or she finds out in spite of you. Mm-hmm. And that is going to violate a trust, and it's hard to come back from that because she keeps thinking, where's the bottom? Where's the bottom? What's the next thing you didn't tell me? The fact that she wants to know and you haven't told her is not a good thing.
Right. That's
not the good basis for a relationship. And, you know, I'm here to support you in telling her that if you want to do it, and if you don't, then you don't. You know, I'm not here to get you to say anything you don't want to say.
But there's
I don't know what you want to say.
There's so much that I've done, you know. Like, I talked to her about my past and that I left home when I was a teenager, and that I lived on the streets for a lot of years, and I made money off the streets for a lot of years. And she understands that, and I teach her that the lessons that I've learned from living that life.
Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I, you know, the lessons I learned from living that lifestyle, you know, I tell her these things so that she don't go.
You'll say that you're telling me. She's not here.
So you don't go down that road, you know, and she's been very understanding about that.
What else is there that you need to tell me?
There's really not much that I haven't told you already. You know, I've told you just about everything. But as I don't know how, I don't know what else to do.
You know, I said that in 24 hours, she can find out more about you than you know about yourself.
That's true.
So can I.
That's true. You're right.
And I do.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot about you. I think there's a lot that you need to sit down and talk with her about.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the what, but the why.
The why.
And you say it may sound like excuses, but it's really not if it comes from a place of truth,
right,
and from the heart. And I think you deserve that. I hope you spend some time sitting down, the two of you, just talking so you truly know your mother and the path that she's traveled. And by the way, she's made some really bad decisions, but there are also some inspirational survival in there as well that you need to share with her too. But I do not think you are being honest with her, and I think you need to do that before it's too late, and I hope you do. We'll be right back. We've been talking about some serious issues today, so it's time to lighten the mood a little bit. So that's why Robin is back bringing more holiday cheer. All this week, yeah, we love that. All this week, she's been here sharing some of her favorite products from OpenSky.com.
They have asked me to be their beauty and health and wellness insider. I'm sort of like a consultant. So when I discover great items and solutions, I get to share them with everyone on OpenSky.com.
You can find Robin's page under the Beauty and Health Living tabs, right?
Yes, and I am constantly adding new products to my page, and I know this one will help everyone keep smiling through the holiday season. It's the Tanda Pearl Teeth Whitener.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, this is that thing that you made me try. You made me try the other night.
Yes.
I had that, okay.
Yes. You put the gel in the tray, you turn it on, and then you bite down for 5 minutes.
So that really is funny. When Robin uses that thing on me, she tells me to keep it on for like an hour. So is that just to shut me up? Is that what it is?
That's true. Because I'm sorry. You know, honey, sometimes I just need a little peace and quiet. You ladies know what I mean, right?
And why is this going to make everybody in the audience smile today?
Because everyone in the audience gets one today.
So, all of you at home see how much fun it is to be in the audience, right? This is fun, right? So go to drphil.com for ticket information, or you can call 323-461-PHIL. If you don't know how to spell Phil, it's 323-461-7445.
I am having so much fun giving away some of my favorites from OpenSky.com all week.
We'll see you next time.
Enemy spotted. Help me! Help me!
Thanks.
Help me!
Okay.
Help me! Help me! Help me!
Ok chú em. Này xin cố đúng không? Đợi tí, lúc này cho thằng Long có hồi sức đã. căng. Ok nha. Chào anh. Chụp chụp. Sụt sụt. Nó. Vô rồi. Trận đấu. Nè. Đánh thêm vào top 4 đồng đội báo đời cho chịu rồi. Căng căng sặc siêu nhá mọi người. Xem có cái kết thôi rồi ấy. Cùng lắm là cả hai đêm nhau rồi chết.
Sao biết vậy? Cái phim này đúng là như vậy.
Mấy cái phim này chỉ cần chết hoặc là cùng lắm là làm cưới là kết thúc rồi. Rồi sao? Mấy cái bọn nhập ra vào mua đồ.
Em ơi, thằng này quen nhìn đáng yêu anh. Kiểu thằng này biết là trước sau gì thằng này nó cũng sẽ chết nên là muốn tăng một con này cho thằng khác, nhưng mà nhìn thằng này anh con ấy thằng khác này nó lại ghen. Đáng yêu phết đây.
Ê chịu rồi, biết sao giờ.
Đây là đi mọi người cái bức tranh của mình nha.
Ca này yếu à. Biến thị. Đấy, mình đang sơn từng góc xanh một lên màu đỏ nha mọi người.
Anh chơi cả tối anh không chán này nữa. Em cũng thấy anh chơi vài game này tầm đấy rồi.
Chơi bị phế.
Chơi toàn thua ấy, ảo quá mình giống anh không chơi game với họ, chơi toàn thua.
Em thần nghiện game. Cái này là công việc. Cái này là công việc chứ không phải việc. Em chơi game là để ra tiền. Em chơi game ra tiền nó khác. 100 này ngon rồi. Khủng mát thay cho phát mát. No.
Head there.
Cứu thầy em ơi.
Help me.
Cứu thầy em ơi. Cứu thầy số 4 ơi. Đừng cứu con Mẫn Nhi làm gì. Cứu thầy. Mày núp đấy làm gì?
Help me.
Trời ơi số 4 ơi.
Help
Thầy
me.
chết rồi em ơi.
Head there. Help me.
49 thôi, để trừ 50.
Help me.
Má, tao ghim thằng số 4 cho mày. Tao ghim mày.
Help me.
Con phò số 4 rồi, tao tố cáo mày. Cả đêm rất là phải hết. Đúng rồi. Hành vi thiếu chuẩn mực. AFK xác nhận. Không cần biết mày làm sai cái gì không, tao vẫn tố cáo mày. Nè, mày ra của đấy mới cứu tao là tao bắn hết mẹ. Xung đột. Mày còn like cho nó nữa. Sói già, thể hiện đi. Sói già mày cầm khẩu Thompson và Ska để bắn ai. Mày cầm 2 khẩu này bắn được ai hả trời. Đấy, 3 thằng đồng đội nữa kìa, vàng của mày thì hồi sinh cho tao thôi. Không thì cùng lắm mình nhận cái nhiệm vụ đi. Xong hồi sinh 3 thằng. Lẹ lên. Đây là một mày hồi sinh 3 thằng một lúc. Đánh đổi lại tính mạng của mày sẽ bị đe dọa. Cho đi. Ok.
Skill on cooldown.
Hết sạch thật mà.
Help me.
Thằng nó. Mấy ông bạn tắm nữa hả?
Kill.
Save here. Help me up.
Đây nha.
Cuối cùng cũng yêu nhau. Đã đợi từ đầu phim đến giờ rồi. Ok,
Đúng. Cắt một phát đến tập cuối là xong. Cho tao đóng nhanh mẹ luôn.
đấy.
Help me.
Phải tua cho nó lẹ đi đằng nào được thế.
Mình đóng nhanh mẹ luôn từ đợt đầu.
Xem 2 tập đầu, 1 tập thôi đủ rồi. Lên giường.
Cứu cho này, chịu ơi.
Help me.
Hết rồi à. Thứ 2 tuần sau chúng ta tập mới ạ. Hết 10 tập trong vòng 2 ngày.
Lần sau là về nhà. Ha ha. Hết rồi. Rồi. Nó chỉ có đến đoạn đấy là kết phim. Chẳng lẽ còn sóng gió cuộc đời nữa à? Chuyện.
Còn tập 2 cái của nhau cơ mà.
Chịu rồi. Hết chiếu phim tầm nhau. Địch sau lưng á. Win là chi kìa. Ok, mày chơi một mình, ta sẽ cho mày like.
Cảm ơn. Được. Phòng 15 giờ rồi nha. Tắm gì.
Killing spree!